Good morning, and welcome to today's live show. Make sure to tune into the last 15 minutes so that you can see the full breakdown of the stocks as we do end the live show in the last 15 minutes with a little bit of a breakdown of every stock that we do cover on this channel. Other things with just thank you guys so much for always liking, subscribing, getting more people a part of this community is great, and it's good for the channel. The only other thing I'd say there is be on the lookout because that course is still 50% off for the whole month, and we do have Patreon where you get those weekly ranges. Now, as we open up today with Nvidia, we're seeing the crossing of the MACD, so we'll have to see if this proves anything. Really, we want to see some strength out of this going right out of the gate. AMD not getting the biggest reaction here. Meta getting a decent reaction right there. So Amazon still holding up as well. So we got a lot of things that are starting to cross over on this 30-minute chart. So that's what we're going to pay attention to as of this morning. See if we can get that bullishness to come in for the whole day, or if this CPI stuff is going to really shake things up. And let's take a look at that real quick. This morning, core inflation rate month over month coming in at 0.4%. Previous was 0.4%, so no real tick up there, but the consensus on this, we are coming in a little higher than expected. Core inflation rate 3.8, previous 3.9, so that is a work down, and that is kind of the forecast. So you'd say people do expect this. Inflation rate month over month 0.4. That was on consensus as well, so it's not like the best news, but hey, it's coming in right in line, right with one of these numbers here, so people most likely will see that as okay news. And then the inflation rate year over year 3.2. So this is a tick up from the previous month. This could be bad news. Some of these could be taken as bad news, but it just doesn't seem bad enough news to really tear us all the way down. But we're still seeing a reaction, a little bit of a gap and trap as of right now. We'll have to see though if that holds. The SPY able to hold up at higher levels here. I mean, you could have this little head and shoulders in this business, so we want to pay attention to any downside today. But I believe one of these will get tagged by end of day. Tesla about to break down a little bit further. So this is something we were talking about as well. You can pull up like a 1 hour and see there's no divergence down here or anything, that curvature of the MACD. If this crosses over, Tesla is heading to lower prices. Apple, similar story. If Apple crosses over, it's most likely heading to lower prices. Amazon looking for that cross to the upside. On Nvidia hourly, you see this, it's right by positive territory. If we can curl that up, that'd be a good sign for Nvidia going on through the rest of the week. And good morning, guys. Good morning. AMD, same thing. Really just need actually the AMD didn't even have a 30-minute curl up yet, so this needs to start curling up pretty soon. You're gonna head a little bit lower on AMD, maybe come and close this gap. We gotta get like an internet thing. Meta here, good little pop in the morning, but that's starting to drop off, testing the level where you were at pretty much at the open. Google was one I wanted to pay attention to as well, just because of this upside about to be tagged. I wanted to see if there would be some positivity going into this. That's something to pay attention to. The VIX dropping off by about 3%, staying in this channel as of right now. Look at that channel holding pretty well right here. So we could see a little bit of a reaction up, maybe get some kind of sell-off early in the day. There is some structure here, though. There is some, take a head and shoulders on the VIX with a grain of salt. But CPI, I think it was pretty much like bland, in my opinion. What up, Phantom? How you doing? Yeah, I think it was kind of bland. Like, if we look at these, yeah, there was like a couple tick ups, but it was expected. There's like a tick up, but it was expected over here, and then 4%. It's like 0.4%. Okay, there's a tick up, but the previous was 0.4. So it's not necessarily like the worst news in the world. But we'll have to see how that plays out. That's where you have to see the reaction of the overall market. Straight down? I mean, I genuinely, it's pretty simple. I'm just seeing if this hourly wants to curl up, guys. Like, this reaction is not anything crazy. Just seeing 30-minute get into fake dump, then we rally into Thursday. Wow, huge sells. CPI came. Yeah, CPI's here. Not. It's pretty much. It's kind of bland in my opinion. Exactly. Yeah. So Frenchie, I'm saying people could take that as bad, but how bullish this move is, people might just be like, "Oh, well, we were expecting that." That was kind of what I'm thinking would happen there. Apple actually breaking down to lower levels, so this isn't good. So now you're going to have an hourly that's going to maybe cross over for Apple. That's not a good sign. Tesla breaking through this low right now. That's not a good sign. Most likely, we are going to see, if these keep crossing, you might see lower prices, and that means if Nvidia and AMD follow suit, it can be a little bit rough. Right now, Nvidia actually popping higher while Apple sells off. You'd wonder, are people rotating back into Nvidia? That's a possibility. Otter. Yeah, core is what they mainly pay attention to. So 3.8 coming in a consensus, but this 0.4, that's kind of what I'm talking about too, is like it came in the same as the previous, but it was supposed to go down. You could read that as bad news, but we'll have to see how the actual market reacts, because those aren't like horrible numbers, but we are seeing a reaction in the 10-year, right? We're seeing that big reaction in the 10-year here. So DLT coming right up to a point where we were paying attention to, boom, drops off, kind of like an island reversal. Boom, we gap up, boom, we gap down. It's pretty crazy. Look at the SPY for a little bit. Let's just sit on this, maybe on like a 15-minute chart. You guys want to watch a 15 for now? All right, so you can see like the range for today is massive. So it's like, you know, almost the size of the weekly range. Pretty crazy. SPY is screaming down. Nvidia 900 today. So what happened? Nothing really happened. We just got CPI numbers. SPY is looking like it's turning down as of right now, but you're right where you closed on Monday. So this isn't anything to scream about yet. What you don't want to happen is for this to go, what? And then do this, get a little thing here, start to head down. I mean, if you want to take it even simpler, you don't want this hourly to cross over. That's about it. Probably the same for the Qs. Look at that. Look, we get rejected out of here. You just don't want this to start rolling over. Apple, it's already rolling over on that 1 hour chart. Amazon, this thing could roll over. Like a lot of stuff could just roll over. 15-minute now getting into negative territory. Nvidia, the only real thing that's still holding higher up in its gap right now. AMD is starting to fall down. You can see on this 15-minute how it might curl down. This would be interesting if it curled down to this area. I'd start to think about AMD, but Meta's seeing a little bit of a pop, then a drop. Now it's going back up, so we'll have to see what happens with that. Let's just pop over to Microsoft. Microsoft, solid little bounce there. Pretty solid bounce there. Google, one we're paying attention to because it's got this wedging, so we want to pay attention to that as well. Netflix. Boof, oof, oof. This could be something bad. This could drop, down to here most likely. As far as Nvidia goes, it's still, guys. I mean, if you watch my YouTube video last night, you'll understand. It's like we're at a point where there's bullish and bearish stuff at the same time. So it's like, are we gonna, cross up into positive territory and get going, or is this daily going to start to cross over today? Like that's kind of where I'm at. And you'll notice actually where we gapped up to, we're kind of like right at testing that 5-day on Nvidia. It's interesting. Let's see what the SPY's doing. So the SPY, you want it to hold above the 5 today for sure to see any positivity going on the rest of the week. Same with the Qs. You need this to hold above the 5 to see that little bit of positivity throughout the rest of the week. But we did cross over into, and if we get into positive territory, it has to get there first. Grab some SQQQ. All right, so we got some people on the short side. A lot of puts being out there. One thing that I was gonna bring up was the max pain. I think we could look at that, see if it changed at all throughout the night. Let's look at the SPY for today. People overall bearish, but 518. 518 looks like the level where there is some calls, so way up here. That's something to note. For today, and I showed you guys how this Friday we have expiration for, we have a 2.66 put call ratio. That's pretty interesting. Do Qs here. Qs today, a lot of big puts, a lot of puts in the Qs today. 1.6 put to call ratio, big put wall at 425. So if we get towards, well, 425, 425, but oh wait, what am I saying? It's on the Qs. Of course, 425 can happen. 425 would be interesting if we came down and hit that, because it'd be right outside of that weekly range. So that'd be very interesting. All right, let's see if Nvidia changed at all, and if it's interesting, I'll show it to you guys. Oh, a lot of calls coming in on Nvidia. Call wall 900, a little one at 950, but 1,000, 29, almost 30,000 calls at $1,000. That is a lot of money on the line. Like a lot of money. That's kind of crazy. The max pay provided went from 750 to 720 a share. I have it at 735 as of right now. So right in between what you just said. So it makes sense. Call's gonna get liquidated, worthless. 20. Yeah, and I think this is where we can pay attention to a few things, right? Like Meta, things like that, because we actually do maybe have trade setups forming, guys. Like, I know that's crazy to say. We're seeing the market go down. But if we start to head like lower in a lot of things, we actually can set up some 15-minute divergences in some good spots. Apple can create like an hourly divergence or a 30-minute divergence down here. I'd say hourly would look cleaner. This would look cleaner. But I'm interested to see, because there's so many weird looking charts these days. Holy shot. Short since Friday. Hey, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But we have to break through some key levels before we can actually go down. Because it's just, if we can't break them down, if you can't get news that breaks us down, then you're just going to turn back up slowly. People will just continue to get bullish. People just keep buying. Like, people will just buy. People buy all the time. Selling's the hard part. That's why in a bear market you get those big rallies and things like that, because people always want to catch the dip. They always want to be buying. People want to buy. Selling is something that's a lot harder to do in the market technically. So keep your eye. We do have a gap down here for AMD. That's something to pay attention to. On the SPY, just pretty much where we closed yesterday. So selling is admitting you are at a loss. What if you're in profit? I sold a ton over the last few days. And was it 5 out of 6 of them were all green? I mean, in a bear market. The last time I traded a bear market, I made like 20 grand. So, yes, Frenchie, agreed. I think we're on the same page. Selling is psychologically one of the hardest things to do in the market. I mean, let's just look at some psychological things here, right? Let's look at some psychological. You want to talk psychological? All right, let's look at this. So let's see. Bitcoin. People started to buy up here saying it's going to go to 100,000. And then it comes down and they don't sell, they don't sell, they don't sell. And then they go, oh, we saw a bounce. Now it's going to go to 100. They make all their money back. They could just break even here. Pay attention if this oh, it crossed. And then they go, well, it's still going to go to 100K. It's still going to go. And I'm not talking crap on them. I mean, look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Like, it's going. But people buying up in this area, I don't know about that. Not my strategy, that's for sure. Where's the news? You can look up the CPI. It's just not like the worst news. It's like kind of bad, but I think the reason that we're seeing this reaction is because of this. I think this 10-year going up that fast is causing some difficulty in the market. But you'll notice the VIX still just holding a little bit lower. Nothing too crazy here. This one, since it does trade a little bit before. Oh, thank you. I'm going to be watching a 2-hour. The 2-hour did cross. I want to see if it... Actually, I might do an hourly, see if that rolls back up throughout the day. See how it's kind of base... It's like coming down at a point we were paying attention to right there. And then we have to see, is this going to roll back up? No, don't freeze. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what unfolds over the next few days. I mean, the fact that Bitcoin's popping off to all-time highs, we got Nvidia that just had that like pop off last week and then kind of faded down. It's kind of like, shoot, man, this puzzle might fall apart soon. Change in rate cut forecast yet? I mean, I haven't really paid attention. I just pay attention to what the Fed says. I don't really pay attention to what other people say about the rate, because the Fed has literally done what they've said for almost every single time. So it's just like they said 3 rate cuts. Everyone started to project 5 or 6 rate cuts, and they go, "No, guys, it's 3 rate cuts." It's like just it's 3 rate cuts. All right. And then after that, now they're kind of switching to like, hey, we don't feel we're fully in control of inflation, so we have to monitor stuff based on the data. And then now they're just saying we see some rate cuts by the end of the year, which just means, you know, it could be 1, could be 2, could be screwed. All right, let's watch Nvidia on this. Yeah, let's watch like a shorter time frame, a little bit shorter. Let's go to a 30-minute. Just see if this thing is able to cross up. Supercore inflation is a category that Fed Chairman Jerome Powell has stated could be the most important. See, that's the thing, though. Okay, in 2 days, you're gonna hear that PPI is one of the most important things that the Fed pays attention to. You're like see, I think it's like PCE and CPI, core CPI, are like the 2 that I would pay attention to the most. But every single time a decent sized piece of data comes out that looks like, hey, we have a big move price in the next day, you're going to hear everyone talking about like, oh, this is the main thing the Fed pays attention to. And I think when it really comes down to it, they pay attention to CPI and PCE. Unless something breaks or political. Yeah, Richard, I'd have to agree with that. And I really think something's going to break. I just really, really do. Especially if this is what causes things to break, by the way. This is what causes them to break. Is you see these yields go higher. That puts more pressure on banks. So, you ladies heading out? Sorry, guys. I had to say bye to my girls. Like, most men only have 1 woman. I have 2. One of them is a baby, but Pitching Academy says Chinese stocks popping up. Interesting. Okay. So and we're not seeing this breakdown. This is where everyone in the chat kind of started saying like sell, sell. Well, I don't know about that just yet. We haven't really broken down through any key levels, so. Now we gotta see what's going on. Let's see if Nvidia's getting any kind of pop from here. If I could click on stuff. There we go. See, nothing really happening here. Meta getting a bounce. Still up 1.5%. Just really, like this is something very patient, but just stare at it until this MACD goes into crosses, gets up here. Like just stare at it, guys. Yeah, weren't there a couple things some people wanted me to look at? Okay, so if someone wanted me to check ASML and Boeing. Fed 13, 2024, super core inflation is real worry in the CPI. Market is bouncing up or what? Well, as of right now, yeah. I mean, we got a lot of stuff bound. We have a few things going down. AMD not seeing as much traction as Nvidia. Meta getting a pretty solid bounce here. If this can really get positive, that'd be good. And this is something we talked about, right? This is the one we were really saying, hey, this is all the market has priced in for the entire week right here. If you guys watch the YouTube videos all the way through, I do give some good trade setups at some point, but you kind of have to read between the lines because I can't tell you what to do. But I told you, I was like, the risk here is if you go short, this is all the market has priced in for the entire week. So most likely you can see this thing get a bounce. That's overall how it's said. I want to see if the VIX is able to break through this level as well. Team solo mid? Yeah. Inflation data was very bad though. I would ask you, do you have shorts right now? When you read the data, did you have shorts? You have shorts already bought when you read the data. I'm asking Amin. Yes, that is why you're going to see the data a little bit worse. It's because you have shorts and you're like, this is bad, it should go down. Very well could, but overall, this is not that bad, you guys. I really don't think this is that bad. You have 0.3, ticked up to 0.4, but the previous was 0.4. Look how people could convince themselves it's good news. 3.9, 3.7. Oh, we thought it was going to be 3.7, but we also forecasted 3.8. So 3.8, we came in and it's lower than the previous. You have to, I think to myself of like, okay, these people could convince themselves this is good news. All right, 0.4, okay, but like it came up a little bit, but we had consensus on this. We had consensus. No, Amin, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying try to get into the mentality of it. It's still bad. Like, this is not good, but is it bad enough to reverse everything that's gone on for the last year? Probably not. Look at this buying up. Let's see if Nvidia's seeing a big push here. It's starting to. Let's see if it can cross on that MACD down there. Boeing, I heard maybe going to criminal investigation, but their orders are at 5-year highs. Yeah, it's funny because Boeing is like, pretty sure Boeing is like 25 minutes away from me, by the way. And I keep hearing about all these planes that keep having problems. Pretty sure I have friends that work at Boeing. Wait, Boeing. I'm trying to think where my dad works, but you live in Linwood Waugh near Boeing. I believe I don't even know Boeing's ticker, to be honest. Oh, BA, duh. Oh, okay. See, that's bad. Let's see. Holy, yeah, this is. Oh, that's not good, guys. You guys, that's what we call in the business. That's bad. Because if you don't set up a divergence here in any way, like you just keep going, which it's already not doing it on the RSI, this thing can crack through here now with like a huge ABC pattern or something. Like, what? Let's see. Let's see where this could possibly get to. Let's just put it on the end here. Let's say worst case scenario right now for it as of now. 140 in Boeing, maybe. That'd be a little crazy. Oh, that'd be a little crazy. Nvidia still seeing a decent bounce here, not seeing extreme buying into that. I should learn trade like a water, as you say. Exactly, and that no, it's if you waited for the data, looked at the data, and decided for yourself it was bad, it's perfectly fine. I would just encourage you to, just because you think it's bad, watch the market for the first 30 minutes, see how they digest it. Notice we gap up. Okay, then it's like we fade down. Now we're pushing back up to high to the open of where we were at. So it's just like you have to be a little careful. Me, I'm chilling. Bad news after bad news after bad news from Boeing for months. That is very, very true. I think I saw another article like yesterday. So crazy. But I mean, just so you guys know, if you are waiting till the data is actually released, you're at least a little better off than just 50-50ing it. And the truth is, because, you know, here's what you want to talk about as well. Like, or actually, let's do the Qs. So the Qs were pricing in a pretty big move. And you would expect that to be a reaction off the data. But what's the truth of the matter right now? You'd expect that big reaction right away. If that was good, if that was great news, this is so bottled up in a good area, this would have went like that. If this was really bad news, well, we have so much bad structure to break through here that it's probably going to gap down. So the fact that it's sitting kind of just barely higher is telling me this news is not, I think it's a dud. I think it is, and when it's a dud, you can say, "Hey, whatever was happening over the last couple weeks can continue happening. We've still been in a bullish state as of right now, so we can go up." That's at least how I view it, but I know it can be different. And I know that too. I feel like every single piece of news we get is like, "Hey, yeah, we should be crashing in the stock market," and then it goes up. And I think that's a lot of confusion with like, oh, if we have a high jobs number, that means the economy is good. Oh, if we have a low jobs number, that means the Fed's doing their job and it's good. Like, I think that's what's going on. I think there's so much of this, like no matter what the data says, they will find the positive in the data. And that's why I think a bank failure, something crazy is going to have to break down the market. Because really, think about it. If CPI was one of the only things that really could tear down the market because it's very obvious. Inflation up, that's bad. But inflation up not that much, that's not that bad. Kind of a weird way that I think people literally think in their head about stuff. Let's go to the SPY. Let's have some fun. Let's see some 5-minute charts here. Ooh. Okay. For the SPY, I'm going to tell you right now, if it breaks to the upside here, this structure is not bad. This coming up all the way up to here, completing some kind of cup near the top here, getting a dip down for that handle to grab liquidity down here. Oh, this could actually get bullish if this wants to. Maybe we see like it kind of compile up like this first, create some kind of triangle in here, but that could be good. Let's do it for the Qs. Qs, same thing, right? You get the cup right at where that gap was, so a little bit lower than the SPY, but boom, you get that. Now you have your handle. We actually If we break through this level, we can see this go up. Meanwhile, Apple's doing the thing the other way, so that's not good. Amazon doing the similar thing. Cup, get a handle, heading up. I haven't heard anything, Richard. Nothing about that. Wonder... AMD, bunch of little 5-minute divergences, getting you close to positive territory. Maybe a bounce is coming. We'll have to see. Nothing really that I see for about. I'd really just, if I wanted to get bullish, I'd just look for this 30 minutes to get into actual positive territory for AMD. Not bad, getting a buy up from underneath here. And then Nvidia, we're still just seeing this cross. Now that you see the 30-minute cross, if you really want to get boring with it, you go watch the hourly for the next 8 hours and see if that crosses, and then you can feel confident. But doesn't look like that good of it really doesn't look like that good of news. But all this hot data just tells the market consumers are still spending and business is booming. I think most of us agree it's not, but the market goes off the numbers. Crash will come on rate cuts. Yeah, so it turns out the credit card debt is what's actually massive right now. Credit card debt's just huge right now, and that's because people got used to a spending habit with the stimulus money, most likely, and then they couldn't stop those habits, and they kept purchasing things, made Jeff Bezos just the richest mother on the planet, and then they took out a credit card, and then after that, now they start to struggle to probably pay their bills because of inflation. Then they have to use the credit card to pay their bills, then the credit card, then they can't pay the credit card. So it's just like, dear God, it's like a negative feedback loop. It's just like every single time that you buy something on Amazon, it's just restarting the loop to where you're going to open a new credit card and buy more stuff on Amazon. Oh, Tesla? Yeah, that's why I think that's why I think the crash will be some kind of bank crisis, some kind of maybe credit crisis in some way, because you just saw, I mean, the data still does not look that good. I mean, I'm not saying, I don't think this is that bad, but I'm thinking of this from the viewership of like a bias, like just, or an unbiased person just like randomly trading the market who's really bullish still. Okay, this doesn't look that bad to me if I put myself in those shoes. Oh, and Tesla, we can pop over there real quick. Tesla, the main thing I'm looking at here, this hourly. If this hourly starts to cross, it's bad news for Tesla. We could be heading lower. So you really want to hold up here. Like probably 15-minute divergences. Like you just want one of these to actually hold in positive territory. People taking loans for food. That is actually crazy. That is actually really, really nuts. The thing is, okay, so like the craziest part is, I swear I went to the grocery store a month ago. I bought $200 worth of things. I was able to fill up my fridge pretty good. Like I filled it up, bought a bunch of meat, did all that good stuff. Then, like 3 weeks later, I go to the store again, and I'm going to like get not as much because I really like we coupon and stuff like that here. Like we do all kinds of stuff that keeps us from spending a lot of money. So when we buy stuff, we buy a lot of it. So we have like 10 packages of steak and stuff like that right now. And so the next time we went to the store, we were like, okay, we don't need to get as much. We probably need like half. But when we bought like literally, I think we bought like maybe 25% of what we bought that month ago. So the first time we bought 100%, the next time we bought 25%. The next time it was literally like, I think it was like 95. I think it was like $95 to $125. And I was like, how is it more expected? Do I do another put? Miles, I wish I could tell you. I could tell you this, 30-minute just crossed. Be very careful with Nvidia right now, because this thing gets into positive territory, it can rip. And let's And people are piling on put. Like, look at the put call ratio right now. You want to see what direction everyone thinks it's going? Well, in the morning with the retail traders, everyone thinks it's going down. So you got to pay attention to that. We know if it was going to be bad news, people would have taken it as bad news already. I'm genuine about that. Now you can get into the point where like retail sees it as good news. This skyrockets up and then it sells off completely by the end of the day because the smart money is just getting out of their high positions, maybe up in here. Bulls are in control, Ivan. Sorry, I called you Ivan because I coached a kid in soccer and his name was Ivan. Video split didn't happen. 922, I feel like it still got some time. It might. I don't know. Like everyone in chat said, you know, Nvidia can't. I said, is Nvidia going to get to $1,000 this week? And I think it was like, you know, 9 no's and 3 yeses. I think I'm kind of a yes right now, but I don't want you guys to take that as like analysis. That's just like a gut feeling. That's not analysis. All right. Meta getting a good move here. Okay. So Meta, it might be the one telling you all of the things you need to know. We mentioned this in last night's video. We posted it on Patreon as well. Oh, and I am so sorry. Shaw Major, thank you so much for subscribing to the show here. Really, really appreciate you being here. This is what we were overall talking about, right? This is all the market priced in. We gave you this range here. We posted it on Patreon for you guys a little bit earlier, but during market hours, we actually posted this. We were seeing if a divergence would form down here, but it just held right there, started to move up. Don't hold me to it. Happy Friday. ASML. Oh yeah, that's right. Don't hold me to that. Happy Friday. I can tell you if it goes to 1,000, that'd be funny. That's how I would see it. Oh, this is setting up. If you cross over, just look for this crossover, see if it rolls back down, because that would be rolling up, fill in the gap, and then you see that cross back down right here. So I'd pay attention to that, maybe something around there. If that does bounce, we can look at a shorter time frame. Let's see. Yeah, so you still have this 15-minute. This behavior is not the best, where you're just like trickling down and the MACD is trickling up. It pretty much just means like, hey, this thing can just keep falling and stuff like that. So I won't be too much around it. On the daily scale, it looks like you're topping out. You're topping out, but I guess the 20 is right there. So this could be a pullback to the 20 as well. So you can see a pop here. You can see this go test top Bollinger, but you want to see if this closes below 20, that the 20-day moving average. That's what I would pay attention to for today. And if not, you know, you can swing trade or something like that. Look at Nvidia's daily bar. We're starting to push up. We're about to run into that 5-day resistance. So this will be an interesting point to actually pay attention to Nvidia. So you got to know 5-day is right above us. 5 days right above us. Come on, don't say that. Nvidia to 100,000 today, guys. It's going to get there. It's going to get there. You know what? I heard that Nvidia identifies as worth $100,000. Personally, my Nvidia stock actually identifies as worth $100,000. So you have to buy it from me for $100,000 because it identifies as such. Sorry, I had to do it, guys. I'm sorry I had to do it once because that's exactly how I feel right now. Wish my Nvidia identified as higher up. Boeing identifies as a bad manufacturer of planes. 514 puts for SPY. Let's see. Market will most likely go up. Well, I mean, you guys, the best thing to do with this type of stuff when it's this crazy is this just crossed up and is getting into positive territory. If it continues, this can rip your face off if you buy any like puts or anything like that, which is perfectly fine if you're a position trader, if you're buying longer out expirations. But if if you're taking one for say like tomorrow and you're saying, oh, it's going to crash from right here, and nothing's telling you that. You're not at the top of the daily, you're not at the top of the weekly, you're not at the top of the monthly. You don't have divergence. This isn't rolling down yet. Now, if this wanted to roll down and like cross down here, take out this low, then you could target the bottom of that weekly expected move if that's how you like to trade. It's not necessarily how I do things. I do things like that every once in a while, but I'm just saying. Maybe I should identify as 100K, so sounds better than he, him, which is required at my work. Really? I can't believe they require that stuff still. Not still at all. But yeah, I'm just saying. Dude in a dress wants to wear a dress? Wear a dress, dog. Like, do whatever you want. This is America. Just don't go into my baby girl's bathroom. That's all I'm saying. That's like my line. That's it. That's not that crazy. She's just a little girl. Okay, the Qs going forward, this is pretty good. We're holding back in this. This is actually pretty dang good. We're able to hold up in this level here. That would be pretty great. You can see how we completed the cup here, maybe on the shorter time frame getting that handle. Oh, Dow Jones, actually, I was looking at this yesterday. I almost put this in the video because you're seeing this down here. So, like, if I pull up, I think it's like an hourly, you'll see it pretty clean. Now, I know this isn't technically divergence, but there is a difference in how steep like the MACD is. So I'm looking for this hourly to go into positive territory because if I just draw a slant here, you're going to see it. Left, it's a slanted head and shoulders. Boom. Dow Jones can actually break to the upside here. Look at it as there we go. If it can get into positive territory. Look at that. You see it? Yeah, like. I see the heart going. I don't know if people are liking, but someone is. And thank you guys for liking. You guys are always awesome. You guys are always great about that. I usually don't. I have to say it like maybe one time I'm like, please like my stream so more people can come hang out. Daddy duty. Y'all enjoy your day. Hey, Miles. I'm a dad too. We can be dad friends. Nux. Let's go, dude. Okay. I think he already left. That's rude. I thought we were friends. Anyway, let's just go back. I just really want to see Nvidia. See, now you can just like pay attention to the next time frame. So this is more backwards thinking there. Debusta. I hit the screen, me too. Bros for life. That's what's up. Now, so because if this just curls up in positive territory, you didn't even have divergence up here the last time, really. I mean, you had a flatness almost of the RSI. That kind of tipped us off a little bit. If we look at a 30-minute, we probably did. But you do have that potential for this to just boom. If there's just no bad news, like actually bad news, which today, obviously, not that bad of news, unless we see this pop up and see the big sellers come in and say, yeah, it was bad news at the end of the day. Apple's starting to buy back up. That's a good sign. This is a good sign. If this can reject, that would be good. This could be some kind of little A, B, C pattern, get back in this zone. Tesla not able to close below here on the hourly. That is massive for Tesla. You really want this to now reject. Now it can use this liquidity. Maybe it has to slowly complete the cup and then see that go higher, complete a cup, see that go higher. So there is a way higher for stocks. AMD still weak AF. Meta looking good. Man, look at that. Look what we posted this to Patreon yesterday. During the day, we said watch out for some kind of divergence, but if you took a shot on this one, you see it's right at the bottom side of its weekly expected move. This is what was telling me yesterday. I was going, Meta's telling us something a little bit different, so hopefully you guys are paying attention to these YouTube videos. Today's price might be the cheapest price for the next 2 weeks. They have GTC on 18 to the 21st March, so it will be rally day for Nvidia. And yeah, I think you've been mentioning that too. And I think you do have potential for that. going into next week, maybe on the 18th and 19th, but I just wanted to bring to your guys' attention real quick. If you go down to March 20th, we actually have the Fed rate decision. We have the FOMC economic projections. This is usually all a little sketch, and then it could go one way, like go up, and then the press conference tears us down. Actually, normally this kind of pulls us back, and then, you know, Jerome Powell comes out and gives us cookies for 10 minutes, and then... Thank you, Lucas. Keep people with some macro perspective here. Yeah, macro perspective... I know, like, throughout the day, obviously, we're trading this thing back and forth, but macro really matters as hell. If you really think about it, risk to reward here, if you really want to be a good investor or trader, you would say risk to reward, a lot of divergence. We haven't seen that break out. We've actually seen this get even tighter as of right now. Ooh, that's kind of scary. So you're hoping some positivity probably comes in today. But this is really, really tight. Risk to reward here. Well, my reward might be like, what, the monthly? So like 522. But the risk is maybe 493, 94. Maybe the risk over 6 months is like 46, or over the next 3 months is like 465. Maybe over the next 6 months, it's like, maybe not 6, probably like another couple months after that, like 4 months, 450. If that breaks, then you're like, okay, I could come test these lows at some point. Okay, I could go even lower. We could see a lot lower levels. So it's just like your risk to reward here. If you're a good investor or trader, you'd probably just sit on cash. Don't deal with all this nonsense. I got half my stuff in cash right now. At least half in just cash. Cash a Rooney do. Oh, refresh. Sorry, it was glitching for a second, Matthew. So just hit the refresh button for me, see if it fixes for you. Oh, plus remember the monthly divergences. If you guys tune in on Saturday, you saw those monthly divergences. Those are what really freak me out. What is this everyone says? GTC Nvidia. It's like isn't it like a conference or something? I'm sorry, Frank. I don't know if it's on my end, but it's just been a little wonky for a couple days. It's pretty much like every day I have to wake up and go reset the Wi-Fi. So we'll upgrade the stream as we go. So I just know I appreciate you guys being here. You guys always like and all that good stuff, but really just appreciate you guys hanging out. You know, talking with my ADHD brain and giving me stuff to enter to kind of get my brain to keep turning all the time. That's what I really enjoy. So by moving like it's... Where is my SPY? There it is. This is it. This is it. Let's go to that 5 minute. Let's really look at this structure in here. It looks good. It actually looks good. You have multiple things going on here. Boom. Let's draw this across. Wank. All right. Then we get left, head. You could say this, right shoulder. Boom. You could also say this is the cup. Here's the handle. Boom. A lot of good things actually there on the 5 minute. Nvidia is still struggling a little. I know we had ours drawn up something like this, right? Something like that. So you got maybe a breakout retest, then we can go higher. You also have scooping up a little cup with a handle. So there is some bullish setups here, but we'll have to see if it lasts. I'm really just going to see, is this hourly turning up? If this hourly turns up in positive territory, it most likely means there is positivity in the market. Point that out real quick. You see a head and shoulders on the 2 hour of AMD. Toby. Toby's our old man and he barks at everything, and I'm sorry about that, guys. Oh, this is the one that we've been talking about. Once we do get that actual drop, I mean, we've been talking about this liquidity in here, getting a big line across here, getting some left head, right shoulder. We were talking about that. Now, if you're talking about this one didn't really fully form. There's a little one like this. This is where I was like, okay, and even though this is lower, we can still get that reaction if we need to grab liquidity, right? If we don't have enough to sell off, then we can go higher to grab liquidity on the way to grab it and then go down. That's something you could pay attention to. Now, 2 hour, you're reacting off of something. Kind of want to pull up a daily too. It's like, okay, so AMD is a little bit riskier because it's still in between the 5 and the 20. So you don't necessarily have a direction. Breaks the 20, go to the 50. Maybe go fill this gap. If it breaks the, I thought it was frozen, sorry. If it breaks through the top side of the 5, you have the chance to test top Bollinger. So, I told you guys I was doing a bunch of research on Bollinger Bands, and I was. And there's some pretty cool stuff I learned if we start to turn down over time here. And I'm still learning about it, so I'm not going to talk about it too much today because I don't want to talk about something I don't know. My ADHD beats the hell out of yours, Lucas. Go. Did you just challenge me to an ADHD fight? You want to fight and get distracted, homie? Oh, the camera's back. That's not what we want. I would rather have the... Thank you. Okay. I wanted to see that live. That was a big reaction there. Nvidia almost up 3% now. Man, it's starting to move. AMD actually coming up, breaking even at this point, going green a little bit there. Just for a moment, and then it kind of stopped. But remember, we got to be careful once we hit that upside. So it looks like you're really going to gravitate. Once you get near one of these, by the way, once you get in range, you do gravitate towards it. So we can actually expect this to kind of get touched, most likely like today. Doesn't mean it has to, but stop eating those nails. You sound like my mom. Sound like wifey. Everyone tells me stop biting my nails. Blew my SQQQ out of the water. I'm so sorry. Hey, the good part about the Qs at this point is they're not going to extreme highs. You could just maybe scale into SQQQ because it really looks like a drop's coming. You just want to be careful holding that for more than like a week, right? But this is crossing to the upside. We just want to see if these hourlies cross. These hourlies crossing are actually very important. Like genuinely, these hourlies crossing are actually pretty damn important. Like Amazon able to cross, guess what? It can go a little bit higher, but is it going to get rejected here? You got Nvidia that's crossing, but it hasn't crossed on the hourly yet. You need a couple more hours here. Boom. The Q, same thing. If this actually crosses, you can go maybe even touch up here around 450. Bears are gone. Right when the bears lose all hope, that's when the crash happens. Right when all the bears lose hope, but Michael Burry is still saying that he's holding puts, that's when it happens. Once Michael Burry is the last man standing. Well, you would think that. But as you look at the put call ratio, everyone is trying to short this right now. Everyone is trying to short this right now. That is Michael Burry. But he does those crazy plays, you know. He does some like crazy smart people stuff. I just buy SQQQ, money go up. That's how I do. Meta with a strong move. Damn, I almost traded that too. I literally almost took that, but I took the fun play because we're streaming. Took calls on Nvidia. Why would you guys let me do that? And don't think I'm biased either. That's a fun play, all right? Most of my money's in cash still. Don't worry. Another TLT. So just, it's okay. Do I like socks? I'm not wearing any this morning. I had to take care of baby girl all morning, and I don't sleep in socks. So I actually just woke up, immediately started like burping her because she has pretty bad gas right now. And then I started bouncing on the ball, but didn't really have time to put socks on because then I just had to go like quickly put some clothes on and get on the stream. I'm trying to troll you. Is it working? Too many headers. Bro, I wish you guys, I used to have a YouTube video of when I played semi-pro. I wish I could show it to you guys. You guys think I wasn't a baller? I was good. What's it gonna take for me to move out of cash? Well, if you want me to be totally serious, we have Nvidia up here. Let's just pull up a weekly. I'm gonna tell you what it would take for me to actually invest all of my money. Okay. If Nvidia over the next few weeks drops all the way down to here, and I see this on the MACD, and this drops all the way down like this, and then curls back up in positive territory, curls back up in the price action, this is where I might sit on a little bit less cash. Now, if that doesn't curl around, or if that's just a pop and drop, and that wants to head lower, say down to worth $100, and that just wants to keep going over time because we might be in a sketchy market, well, then this might be where I hold a little less cash. I'm waiting for a breakdown. I am not going to play around with this stuff. This is not a time to play around with my money, and I know that, so I will be very, very careful. Now, most likely I won't be, if Nvidia goes to $100, yeah, I'm going to buy some Nvidia. You know what I mean? But most likely I'll look at like Apple or Tesla. Apple and Tesla really have dropped off. So if I'm looking for a solid bounce or something like that, or some kind of, dead cat bounce in those stocks, that's what I'd probably play with over the next few weeks. Well, guys, my fun play is almost back in the money with my Nvidia calls. You guys know I did that yesterday because I made a bunch of money yesterday. So I was like, let me have some fun this week. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun watching the stock go up, but my option's still worth less. Yeah, and this is fake anger, by the way, just so we're clear. Fake anger, not real. I'll be out of my SPY calls by Wednesday, 4 p.m. Opening puts Wednesday before close, just in case. PPI. Like I'm saying, people are sleeping on the PPI. I still think FOMC minutes that we might like get some kind of price action till then, like to the upside. But retail sales and PPI, this could be actually interesting because you see previous 0.3, consensus 0.3, forecast 0.3. So if you see a tick up to 0.4, it means worse across the board. Like it's higher than previous, it's higher than forecast. Like you can't argue that that's good. Now, retail sales, that's something that could be back and forth. Retail sales coming down, that's someone can say, oh, that's a good thing because the Fed's doing their job and people aren't buying as much, so inflation will come down. But retail sales goes up, like up dramatically, like it's predicting here, then people will say, see, we are still in a strong economy. Do you see how it's like they can always find a good thing? That's kind of what I'm talking about with data like this, but PPI can be cut and dry. If it's a higher number, that's not good. Software do I use to trade? I might put that out on my course actually. Because I have multiple, so it depends. I have an old Schwab account, but I think I still have stuff in there. Like investments. but I just haven't looked at it since I was like 20 years old. Ow, freaking, don't kick me. Retail sales goes up at the start of the year due to tax returns, extra spending money. Well, but when do people get their earliest tax return? Does anyone know? When's the earliest people can get their tax return? Nvidia looking strong, looking like it might cross. Yeah. I've always followed this guy, Mike Schwartz. It's Jover. Rare said Jover. Hell yeah. Oh man, are you a gamer or something? Rare, are you a gamer? Salutations. Gabo. Gabo, how are you? Do you believe the market is being manipulated with CPI and PPI because it's an election year, so in theory, nothing bad is going to happen in this market until after November 2024? It's very, 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 very possible that that is going on. The only thing that I would say about that is the more people buy into this election and they keep seeing the price of these stocks go up, and the fact that the data is not that bad, it's still bad. It's just not bad enough to tear people out of what they're feeling right now. The scary part with that is if we do experience a bank failure, that means so many people will be on the wrong side from the retail side of traders that it could be even worse for retailers, which is overall what this government has wanted to do the last 4 years is put you in inflation to tax you more, hire more IRS agents, get you weak. You'll have everything but own nothing or something like that. That's really what they want. I like Mike Schwartz. I've been a part of Mike Schwartz's channel for like a part of it. I've been subscribed to his channel for quite some time. Let's flip over to something a little bit different here. Let's go to the keys. See that's crossing up in positive territory. You now have the chance to test this high, go make a new one in the keys and the SPY probably. So SPY, same thing, crossing on that MACD. Now you have the opportunity to test this high, go make a new one. Kind of scary to go to these highs when there's no news tomorrow, really. I mean, a bunch of crude oil and things like that, gas, things like that, but kind of scary to do that. Maybe make another point of divergence. Like, is this going to sell off at end of day? That's kind of weird. Yeah, that's it. You'll have nothing but be happy. But yeah, Mike Schwartz, I like, I used to actually, if anyone's a part of that live stream during the, I think he trades like the Asian market or something like that, but I actually used to go in there and comment all the time, and every single time that I commented, he would say like, "Oh, that is a very, very good point, this and that," and I was like, I do have good points. And then part of Mike Schwartz like commenting in there and him backing up some of the things that I said every time, I was like, okay, maybe a YouTube channel would be good. So Mike Schwartz, happy Friday, wrote it above you. Really, really good guy. Like he just seems like a good guy, you know? So I don't mind shouting him out. He just trades completely different than I do. Volume profiles, that kind of thing, and it's just not my cup of tea. But it's good information to like pay attention to. It's always good to pay attention to, you know, what other people see as important levels. Like volume profile is a great thing. It's just I don't really use that. So, but hearing his commentary and how he talks about stuff and the levels he pays attention to is still great information. The POC. Yeah, the POC. I don't watch dark pools. I'll sometimes like watch some videos that are like showing me the dark pools, but I don't necessarily watch them. Your trading style is much better. Well, it's been good for me lately. I'll put it that way. You know, it's been good to me lately. Here, and even up here. I made money on 1, 2, 3. Didn't necessarily make much on this bounce actually. I got scared out of it right here. I was weak, guys, but I thought maybe this could be head and shoulders, so I was like, I'm not going to risk it. Then it goes up here, and I go, okay, easy short. But this did not make a lower low, so we don't have that negative trend just yet. This can go a little bit higher. It could, because it's moving very fast. If it wants to set up Thursday, or Thursday mornings when we start to really see some downturn, maybe PPI, retail sales. But according to my video last night, I was really trying to get it forward that people are going to see this data. They're going to find a way to make it good news unless it's a big surprise. So if we don't see a big surprise with the data this week, we will most likely continue to be bullish until that Fed rate decision, where people will again be like, oh, they're going to cut rates. They're going to cut rates. And they might just come out and say, we're not going to cut rates. I don't know what's going on. Happy Friday. I need to move the router. You know what? You know, routers, they work like this. They send the signal up and then they cloud down. They cloud down. And I need to move that thing to where it's closer to me. AI stocks, and any recommendations to keep an eye out? I would say keep an eye out for lower prices in AI stocks. I mean, well, there was one that my dad was telling me about that I looked at. What it was, and like sound is sound one. It's like sound or soundhound. This one. This was one someone told me about. My dad actually told me about this at like $1.50. But it's just. And this is a swing trader's dream, right? You get the beat down, you curl back up in positive territory. All right, we can make a move. You'd probably test the top Bollinger here if you're able to see that strength. Like, I get it. Like, sounds one that I think is still cheap and could see some kind of, at least move here from the swing trader perspective. But from an investment perspective, I would just say, be a little careful up here. Most likely going to make some kind of 2-hour divergence. I really think 2-hour divergence is great here. If you come up a little bit higher, see that 2-hour divergence, this could go to crap. I think AI is in a bubble. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just really see it as like a bubble at this point. This is bubble behavior. This is way too many people getting excited into something before it's proven its value, and that's what you have to pay attention to. Now, Nvidia making another move higher here. I'm almost fully green. You're shorting at 230. At 230, I don't think anyone can read my screen. Here, let me go check the stream real quick. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's wonky AF. It's moving on mine. I don't know why it's freezing for you guys. I have the stream up. It's working. 38 likes. We can do better than that. Come on, get us to at least 50 today, guys. Come on, we need at least 50. Did I like my own stream? Yes, I did. All right, so see if this 1 hour is able to curl up over the next couple hours here. This is really what you want to just stare at, because if this starts to curl up, the probabilities start to add up. If you're swing trading on the hourly. Let's see, closing bar, boom. All right, closing bar, boom. All right. If this is able to cross over, you can feel pretty confident that we're going to see some upside here. We just want to see if any kind of head and shoulders is setting up. So if this starts to fail, that's what we'll really pay attention to throughout today. Amazon seeing a strong move. This area up here really where we want to pay attention. Now, if Amazon does want to head higher, say over the next couple of days, we most likely test that area, right? Come up into this and then scoot back down to grab some liquidity right in this area at the bottom here, right in this area here. You can see it kind of lines together. Boom, we can see some kind of liquidity grab there. So have to pay attention to any kind of upside coming, because we did not see a bad reaction at all today. Apple able to remain at higher levels as of right now. Tesla not confirming that downside move. And AMD finally going green. Hasn't turned up on that MACD yet, but Meta is about to. Meta is about to. Is this setting up some kind of big, weird head and shoulders? It could be. But really, this broke down really fast. I mean, yeah, you completed like a big cup. If you want to make a cup in here, this could be some kind of handle as well. So you got a few cases here for some downside. My Nvidia calls. Oh my God, they're so close to going green. It's insane. My fun play might actually work out. I almost got out of it yesterday too. You guys don't scare me. You can't scare me out of this. I was down. Like I said, it was a fun play. I was down like 20%. Now I'm only down 5%. Pretty cool. If I was being a smart trader, I really do think this is going to rip down over the next, I really think this we could. It's pretty much like we are so compiled up that anything could break the market. So that's really what I'm thinking. The US 100 for the hourly, I like to look at a 4-hour. It's kind of like a compared one. Look at that crossing. So if you look at the hourly on the Qs or NASDAQ, something like that, but you want to see like what the US 100 is doing, you can look at a 4-hour. You'll notice it's pretty similar. It just got that crossing. We could get some kind of move up in here. I think a move a little bit higher would make some sense here. Get a triple divergence up in this area. That's what I would be looking out for. I do have this point here I want to pay attention to, SPX 500. So that's what I want to look at today. Now, I do have my estimate. If you guys didn't know, I make my estimates on the futures market. And my original assessment like a year ago was we could go to 5,300 before we see a downturn, somewhere around there. That's just what I put together for myself. I don't normally share like my futures market stuff, but 4-hour here, we can make a slight 4-hour divergence. This would be great though. A 2-hour divergence would be very, very helpful. Good morning, Junior. Nvidia 1010 call. See if this hourly is able to cross, and you might have some luck with that. We'll see. You need this hourly to cross, get a strong move. Once we burst through here, we can see that strength come in. You just need this to cross, get to positive territory. That's when the strength usually comes in. 85 of us. I only saw like 38 likes, guys. Smash it. I would think the crazy RSI make the market nervous. Most traders, well, not traders, most retail people who are just like buying and selling stock, not really, they're really just not. I don't think a lot of people, a lot less people pay attention to RSIs in this environment than you think. That's why we can stay overbought for so long. Because really, when you think about it, most people just get a feeling of emotion. They read a piece of data, they hit the buy button. That's kind of how it works. And that's why a lot of people lose a lot of money in the market. Like 95%, right? That's what someone was saying yesterday. I would give it more like 85, 80%, but did I just chug my coffee? Yes, I did. Don't judge me. This stream is Planet Fitness. Judgment-free zone. Unless you want to go, unless you're a man that wants to go to the bathroom with my dog. But judgment-free zone. All right, no lunking. Or else I'll set up the lunk alarm. Pew, pew. Arnold Palmer alert. Oh, God. Anyway, see if this wants to cross up. A good sign that it's going to cross up is the fact that the SPY and the Qs already have. It's a good sign that Nvidia is most likely going to see some strength here. Microsoft with a good move. Google's one that you got to pay attention to. It's coming up into a point where it could sell. Right, this could make a triple divergence here. Bro, you're funny. Thank you, Alan. Whenever I see the name Alan, I think of my dog, because his name is Alan. Yeah, I went to KU. Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, go KU. And his name is Alan Fieldhouse Hansen. And also, the other person I think of when I see the name Alan is Pedro. Pedro is the little baby from The Hangover. Yeah. 15-minute, this is what I'm talking about on Google. We could see some kind of not necessarily full on reversal in trend. We actually could. You can with this 15. We can start to reverse this way. Makes sense, but really pay attention to what goes on with Google over the next few minutes here. One thing that we want to keep an eye on, maybe the shorter time frames for Nvidia here. You're seeing that 15 get well into positive territory. That's a good sign. Now we can start to head upward like this, maybe consolidate before this high, then break through it with some kind of ABC move like this. So if you wanted to complete a big cup right here, that would make total sense. Kind of base out like this, then go test that high with some kind of boom, boom, boom. 902. Let's see if I am official. I'm green. I'm up 15%. God, you gotta love this market. This market's so stupid, man. I feel like I'm not even like trading right, but it works for me, so I'm like, whatever. AMD is still not seeing that strength. The Qs, the SPY. So Nvidia, I would more treat this as, if you want to get out of your play today, this is actually a very good thing, how you can use these daily ranges. All right. So Nvidia, if I have calls here, what I can do is go over to the Qs. I can see when the Qs get outside of this range, and that's when I can take profit. I can say, okay, this is what the market had expected for today. Even if it goes to 1,000, I don't need to play anything higher. I can just take my profit at this point and then run away. So this is actually good, though. We're coming up into a point where we could get that consolidation. You actually do have the potential for a little bit of a head and shoulders if we wanted to go over here. So you do have cup and handle and head and shoulders right here. Very, very good sign. But we're just blowing past that right now. Ignore everything that I just said because we're still just blowing past that. Hourly probably about to cross. I'm going to hold this for till end of day, most likely. See if we get a big boom in Nvidia here. Squeeze, almond, squeeze. And we were talking about that with the put to call ratio. That's why I put that in my YouTube video last night, showing you guys where people are positioned for Friday on the SPY. The SPY can squeeze now. That was the overall thing I was hinting at. I was like, you guys, the SPY can squeeze because there's a 3.0 pretty much put to call ratio. Yeah, good job, Amin. I mean, I know that you were shorting off the rip today, and you seem like you were conscious of it. You're moving like water. You got out of the trade, maybe took a small loss. That's perfectly fine. Happens to all of us. Now we can make a different play. Well, I got a bunch of things curling up in positive territory. Not that one. Let's not look at Apple. Don't pay attention to Apple. But Amazon, the only sketchy part with Amazon is you got this downward movement of the MACD with this, pretty steep. So I'd really look for some structure in this one. Nvidia, AMD and Nvidia, if these can cross, these would be probably what I would play. Meta crossing as well, this would be a possible play to take. Now, that's saying that this data is still going to be good news the whole rest of the day, and we're going to see higher prices. So you just got to be willing to know, like, hey, this can fade at any moment, so I need to be a little bit careful. But hourly buy signal, we're just waiting probably for the next hour and a half here, seeing if this can actually cross on its MACD. What did review say? Absolutely. And that's coming from someone that's doing pretty well on it. That same here. I've done really, really well over the last 2 weeks. I still hate this market. Because the reason I hate the market, I know we brought up the Big Short last week. You know that scene in the Big Short where like those two guys make that play with a bunch of swaps or whatever, and they go like, "Oh, we're about to make millions of dollars," and it's like Brad Pitt, and he's like, "Don't dance." He's like, "Don't be happy about it." That's kind of how I feel right now. I'm like, I'm making money, but I know that this is gonna get ripped away. At some point, it's going to get ripped away, and people don't trade like water like I do for the most part, so they're most likely going to be caught up in it. And that's a very scary thing because people do lose exactly what he said in the movie. It's like they lose homes, they lose pensions, they lose jobs. It's scary. The market isn't necessarily fragile, actually, because if the market was fragile, this today going up, staying at 0.4 would scare people out. This remaining at 3.8, if the market was fragile, this would scare them out. This coming up to 0.4 from the previous 0.3 would scare people out. This coming up to 3.2 from 3.1 would scare people out if the market was fragile. So what this is actually telling you is the market is bullishly resilient, and you need something very, very like bad to happen to actually get people to hit that sell button. That's how I would take it. And thank you guys. We have 89 people in here. Smash that like button for me. Let's get 100 people in here today. It's like the coyote trying to catch the roadrunner. Meep meep. All right, we're starting to get some fading here. What you could do is just pull up 15 minutes, see if this wants to remain in positive territory. Starts to curl over, like actually curl over into negative territory. I might have to get out of my position. Wait for another play. I'm still positive on the trade. I feel like I just offend people all day on my stream with my shitty accents. My accent that I'm trying to get down is the Australian one from the show Kath and Kim. Yoruba? Or what do they say? No. How do you say no with an R in it? Nar. Nar. Oh, nar. Oh my god. Like they say like R. It's funny. Buy a Wi-Fi mesh system. I know that's a comment from a long time ago, but I need that probably. Look at you guys upgrading my home. This site can't be reached. It's Amazon. Yeah, we're gonna skip that for now. Is jumping on SPY a good idea? I mean, I would say it's a reasonable idea. It is a reasonable idea. I would just be careful because you do have points of divergence. So if you do make a move towards that daily expected move, remember we talked about possibly some kind of double top coming in today and then seeing that ripped away. We can see the retail traders see that as good news and then see the big fish start to sell out of their stocks based on that news. Big fish like to wait till they see that pop, and then they can sell Nvidia for $950 or something like that. So, yes, you do, James Cena. Watch out, watch out, watch out. It's James Cena. AMD actually getting that pop now. So maybe AMD is a late bloomer, but yeah, just I totally understand if you want to make a play. This is actually something that a lot of people would do with daily ranges. I don't do it, but a lot of people do. They see the direction, they see the good bar, they maybe get in on this trade because you come above all the moving averages. They say a strong move is what would be expected. Boom, 517. They might take a call at 514, get out somewhere above 517. That's how some people play this type of stuff. The least attractive was New York, followed by the Boston. Boston? What did we watch the other night? We watched, have you guys ever seen The Heat? It's like it's actually pretty good. I like it. God, it's with that fat chick who's just awesome. And Sandra Bullock. It actually is pretty funny. I actually do enjoy that movie. I thought it was pretty funny. And they like go to her house, and I think she's in like Boston or something like that. And the guy's asking her if she's a narc, and she's just like, she's like, what? He's like, are you not a narc? Because it sounds like knock. She's like, I'm a knock? I don't... Like, am I speaking Japanese or something? It's like, are you or are you not a knack? Tammy. Let's see. The 850 Nvidia buy 5x leverage now safe. I mean, it's reasonable. Are you talking Nvidia put? Oh, a put at 850. It depends on your expiration. If you're expecting that to just happen out of the blue now, the signals here would tell you there's upside. The 30-minute just crossed. It's about to go into positive territory. We just completed this cup in here. Maybe we get some kind of handle for a few minutes, head higher. If the hourly crosses over, you know positivity is coming. Something that I'm more looking at, not necessarily to play Nvidia, but to see a signal that Nvidia is going to sell off, which will make the market sell off, is some kind of sell off above 1,000. See if that's able to create some kind of like hourly divergence. You'll notice that this is a strong move. We're up like 5% in 2 hours. Okay, that hasn't even crossed on the MACD yet. We can see some strength out of this move if people keep trying to pile on the puts, and people are piling on the puts right now. It is still a put call ratio, still very, very high, which can keep squeezing as long as the price of the SPY and the Qs stays higher. So that is really what I'm paying attention to, and we're not seeing many stocks break down. So would I buy puts at this very moment? Would I buy puts? No, not till I see what happens right here. Not till I see if this crosses, makes a point of divergence, gives me some probabilities. Oh, buy 850. 850, this level here. I mean, if you bought 850, that's a pretty good buy at this point, right? So that's down at these lows. You're getting this uptick. You've made at least what, 6% at this point, maybe almost 6%. It's not the worst. You would just want to say, okay, I'm going to stay in my position. If you're on the call side, if you're on the uptrend here, you're like, I'm going to stay on my position, see if this crosses. If this starts to fail, that would be a sign that we're actually probably setting up that right shoulder. Okay, so that would be one thing. Now, if this actually crosses, you just want that to see that strength. If it crosses and we just don't see that good of bars, that still has the potential to come back down. So be a little careful there. I would say like, hey, maybe like, take half your profit or something if you're in profit, which if you're at 850. You should be in the profit a little bit. But if this crosses, you do have great potential because it's not that far into negative territory. The second that this crosses, it's going to be positive, and that's where you want to see the strength come in. Most likely until the third or fourth quarter, with CPI and energy continues to go up, rate cut December. Yes, so the overall talking points that I've been talking about is they haven't been giving specifics anymore. They used to say 3, now they're saying some. That is a change. Some could mean 1, some could mean 2, some could mean 3, some could mean, holy crap, something broke, we need to cut 5. Another penny stock? SMCI, a penny stock? That's crazy. But you'll see this, the hourly about to turn up in positive territory. We can see more positivity come in for SMCI. That's why you just want to pay attention, because this could be head and shoulders, right? Still, even with this, like you just draw your baseline maybe here, left, head, maybe this is right shoulder. So you really want to break through this level here. What is that? 1,163.22 cents, something like that. If I start to close above there, I'd be a little bit more confident. AMD getting a strong move here. Finally, took a little bit of time. See, this one's a little deeper. This one's a little bit deeper into negative territory. So do you see the difference? Nvidia holding up like right up in here, looking like it's going to cross right there. In AMD, a little bit lower, which just tells you it has a little bit of potential to come back down, maybe creating that actual head and shoulders with this base. But right now you're testing that level, or actually you got back above this, so you still can come make that right shoulder. This is a little bit deeper down. So you just want to be a little more careful with AMD. Nvidia looking like it's about to get some strength. As long as this bar holds and the next bar is green, like green. I'm thinking at some point in the next 2 hours, we need a very green bar. Penny stock, if you're LeBron, stop trolling. Is it called troll fishing, by the way? Oh my god, you just clicked in my head. I was trying to describe the kind of fishing I like to do to wifey, and I couldn't think of it. I thought it was like, it's where you drag the line behind you, you barely have the boat move forward at like half a mile an hour, and you just chill and drink beers and just like wait till your line gets pulled. Is that troll fishing? Am I crazy? I think that the US 100 here, I think with this, if you're looking at this and we're looking for that hourly to cross, you can look at a 4-hour, and that just crossed. Now it came up into a point where it can see resistance, right? You see my trend line holding as some resistance up in here. So we'd have to break through that trend line again. As of right now, you're crossed. So you want this to hold for quite some time here. Maybe see some more strength out of this bar getting into positive territory. But you do have divergence across here. So you could get another point of divergence up here and it can get ripped away. Maybe something breaks in the system tomorrow. It's like, who knows? But this is what I'm worried about. The market going up while the 10-year goes up, not a good sign. TLT selling off while the market goes up. VIX going down. It could go down by more than 10% today. We know that when the VIX is down by 10%, we have an 85% chance for a down day in the market in the next 2 trading sessions. So really pay attention. We'll mention this if this happens today. Yeah, it looks like this is going to maybe even curl down for a couple days, which we said we want to pay attention to a 2-hour, right? So a 2-hour would be good to pay attention to here on the VIX. We can pull this over. We look for this to drop down, look for it to curl back up in positive territory. If it pulls back up pretty high up, that'd be great. If it wants to head a little lower, go to like 13, that would make sense, right? Pull down into here. Well, that would pull us down like this, but we'd curl back up into positive. So VIX is still in a positive trend. Let's see if Nvidia is still holding strong, over 5% still. So that's what we got to pay attention to. This is just very important for the market. I know it's not the most excited thing to watch. I'm in the Midwest, yeah. Ever trolled for sharks? Actually, the funny thing is, I had 2 friends. We went down to Florida. My 2 best friends got married, and then we've had the friend group for a long time here. And we went to Florida to visit his family. He's a pilot in the Air Force. He's over in Okinawa right now. But we went to visit his family, and we went and did this thing. It's like an area of the water where like the sand rises up. So you go park a boat, and everyone just chills in the water. It's really, really cool. And the funny part was someone came by with some jet skis. It was his uncle. And so his uncle comes by with jet skis. These 2 girls get on, and they just literally go out in the middle of the ocean and flip these girls into the water. And one of them said that they go down into the water and they feel their foot hit this big animal. And then they get back onto the jet ski and they start driving driving around, like riding around. And then they look down and there's just like little sharks and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. We're almost up 5.5%. I gotta look at this option. I'm kind of like sketched out by all this price action, to be honest. I guess my put today, I probably should get out of that, but I mean, I'm just gonna hold it for the long run. At this point, I'm gonna just buy the dips forever. That is actually how you should treat a bull market. We talked about this yesterday on the live stream, but if you just take a 2-hour here and you just look at this, every time it gets close to the center line, if you would buy just when it crosses on this center line, you buy here for say like 2 weeks out, boom, you make a bunch of money. And then you can look for the next time. Okay, this got decently close. Boom, I buy. I make a bunch of money. Like you literally could just, oh, look here, it crossed up. Okay, boom, I buy, I make a bunch of money. Right here, it crosses down here. Okay, boom, I buy, I make a bunch of money. Right here, boom, I buy, I make a bunch. So it's just like, that's why trading in this market actually isn't difficult. It's actually not. It's not hard to trade in that. It's just when you have, like, that's why I mentioned times to be cautious in the market. That's very, very true. When these divergences are there, that's when something bad can happen. But if that bad thing doesn't happen, you should immediately be like, okay, this thing's going to go higher. Not even trading, a baby could do it. I have a baby. We could try it out, guys. Should we try out a baby trade? I'm going to go grab my baby, grab her tiny little arms, and have her press the buy button. I'm just going to be like, It's going to be like, buy Pampers. Strong move on the 1 hour here. AMD still not crossed, but Nvidia looking like that's probably, it's very likely at this point. 5.8, almost 6% now. Part of me really wants to take profit here, but this looks so good, and I called this move so good that I want to stay in it to see what happens. It's my fun play. I can't get out early on a fun play when the MACD is just about to cross. I'd look like an idiot, Ivan. You guys think that me? You think me? You think I don't have balls? Okay, I kind of want to get out. I've made good money on this trade already now. To think, I was down 20%. Now I'm up 30%. On my widow trade. On my widow Nvidia trade, everyone thought it would go down. Why Nvidia, or why? Okay, yeah, we'll do this again. I know people are fluctuating in and out. For the most part, people have probably heard my assessment on why this is good news for the market. Buy Walmart forever. That's fun. Because it's not shit news. That is the best explanation, Ivan. That is a very good explanation. You have to think of the mindset of a trader when they've been in a market like this one. They are very, very bullish, very, very bullish. This is never going to fall unless we get terrible news. Was today terrible news? The answer to that question? No. 0.4. Previous was 0.4. Oh, sure, it ticked up from the forecast, but it only ticked up 0.1, and it's the same as the last month. Do you see how I can convince myself it's good? You see that? That's a bullish thing because we're in a bull run. We're in a bull market pretty much. 3.8. No, well, actually 3.8's down from 3.9. I know consensus on it was 3.7, but forecast was 3.8, and it's less than the previous, so this is a good sign. Hold on. Toby, stop. Okay, so you see how I convinced myself, and then inflation rate month over month. Oh, that one ticked up to 0.4, but consensus on that was 0.4. So even though it was a tick up from the previous, it's still 0.4. That's pretty good. 3.2. Yeah, that's a tick up from the previous, but the forecast here 3.2. So. Sorry, guys, I had to help baby girl. Not good news, but not bad enough news. That's how I would word it. Might show that it's in a bubble. It is in a bubble. Rose, it is 100% in a bubble. Oh, baby girl's here, and she's upset. Why does my camera do this? It's always like, I have to like stare at it for a little bit, and sometimes it adjusts. Baby girl's upset. What did you guys do? Make sure to like and subscribe onto the stream. Help the channel out. Like and subscribe. Really appreciate you guys being here today. I think it's your lighting. Oh, there it goes. No, it always like is blurry at first, and then I have to like do this, and it's probably the lighting behind me messing things up. This camera's dope though. Can we need to see my face? It's not crazy. There's the blurriness. Sometimes if you just stare at it, it gets your face. Oh, okay, the Wi-Fi is going strong now. When's the bubble gonna pop? I would... Once we get an actual piece of blatantly bad news, that is when this most likely stops. Now we can see if people are still shorting this market. A little bit. The thing is, so why I have this up here, this is actually very cool. Okay, so why I have this 1.0 and things like that up here, 0.95, it's because when you cross to the upside on the put call ratio, and then you see that bounce holding higher, these people switch to the call side, they sell their puts, and that causes squeezing. So once you actually cross through this green and this red line, it's actually a bullish sign. People are coming out of their puts and buying into those calls. So you're seeing people get bullish. And then once you get out of 0.8, then you want to see that reaction back down. This would be the bearish sign here. Just something cool. I know we don't talk about this in the course. We can add stuff to the course. We're going to be adding something to the course this week, actually. We're going to be talking a little bit more on how to take your loss, like when to take it, when to stay in something, that whole deal. So if you have taken the course, when a video gets added to it, you already get it. So you just have to log back in and you can go watch that video. I'm going to make that by Sunday, most likely Saturday. I'll work on that. When does Reddit launch? Oh, that's right. Someone said that like a month ago that Reddit is going public or whatever. Yo, can you focus? Like if I'm gonna be on the screen, that look good. 5.75, this is the first area here. If we look at shorter time frames, this is really the full completion of the cut before that dramatic selling came in. And you're kind of just trickling higher. So you'd want to maybe see some consolidation right here to head higher. Look at this. Boom. The biggest cup has formed. Now I can get that handle head up. The only other big cup we got is if we go all the way up to here, form that handle and head up to 1,000. It's definitely possible. Definitely possible as this hourly just continues to push higher. We are almost up 6% now. My option's looking good. But fun play. We're going to hold it. How can I take the course? It's down in the description below. And right now it is 50% off for the rest of this month. So I believe we're going to go into a bear market. And that's the thing about the course. Remember, the whole first part is just teaching you about the indicators. You can use that information in any market. It's just, I believe we're going into a bear market. So I added a bear market strategy around the risk ranges and everything that you learn in the course. We added a bear market strategy there just so if things get volatile, you have a strategy you can go use. You can look at, you can try to get good at. It's very, very useful. I made it myself. Pre-IPO investors always take profit at IPO. Yeah, that's reasonable. I'm a better trader in a bear market. I am too. I am too. So like the reason I've been very good lately is because these price fluctuations. This type of stuff is where I'm actually good. When it's very up and down, it's where I start to really excel, in my opinion. All right, now we're coming up into the last 10 minutes here. If we see a strong bar in the next 2 hours, that is a very good sign. Nah, we don't like bear markets, huh? Hey, that's all right, Aaron. Everyone has their cup of tea. You had plenty of time throughout your whole bull run to make your money. Now let me make money in the bear market, okay? Swing trade the way up. Use my doubling strategy on the way down. Hey, no slurs in the chat, guys. I know, we're trolling each other. It's fun. Oh, golly. Let's see if anything else is crazy happening across the board. Looking at the SPY here, about to come in the top side. Okay, so this is where we have to be a little bit careful. The Q's about to go into its top side. So if we get outside of this, that's where we could hesitate a little bit. It would be nice, say on like a 15-minute even, if we just saw this move sideways. You see this cupping, and here we were talking about this level up here. Look at that. If we start to get this curled down a little bit, that actually would be a good sign moving forward. Nvidia, we'll have to see if this wants to consolidate in any way around this level here, right, with that cup and handle. So you do have a point in time here for the next couple hours where you could consolidate. I'm just saying it would be very bullish if this thing did not consolidate and just went for it. That would be more squeeze-like behavior. Bye-bye, guys. Good luck. Aaron, good luck with the rest of your trades. And have a great day, Aaron B. This type of 4 months rally sustainable? No. 4 month rally. This is like a 12-month rally at the end of the day. Like, it really is. But it is not sustainable. You have to know that when stocks start getting to thousands of dollars out of nowhere, that is not a good thing. It's not. Dollar drop this week would be sick. Yeah, on the way down, if you're good at it, you can make good money. It's harder to short. It is, because most of the time people like to buy, but if you can catch it at the right time, get in, get out, you can make really good money. That's why my course, the profit side, is like, take money. If you have a bad gut feeling, take money. Like, we go through that with the risk management thing too. SMH, yeah, I mean, I look at it every once in a while. It's just, this thing is psycho at this point. Like, come on. This is absolutely insane. You're telling me I could have doubled on this, tripled on this. Like, come on. It's insane. But this is where you know it's just parabolic, when the momentum just doesn't die out at all, doesn't give you divergences. It just goes. But you'll see on the RSI, boom, we see that divergence forming here. It doesn't say we make another point. You can keep making multiple points. We can keep this going. We know it's an election year. If they really want to keep giving us CPI and lying about those jobs numbers, perfectly fine. If you guys didn't know, the jobs numbers was, we talked about it live, it was corrected or whatever, the previous one, and they were like, oh, 400,000 jobs were created, and then it was corrected and only 250,000 jobs were created. And I'll tell you right now, all of those are government jobs, like government stuff. And so government and apparently immigrant workers is, for the most part, what is in that jobs report, what's keeping those numbers high. And they overestimate every time. It's like, the last thing we need is more IRS agents and government people. But the thing is, they have the illegal immigration coming across the border, so you have to hire more people in the government to take care of those people. Yeah, that's just how it is. Don't shoot the messenger. It's just how it is. Qs are breaking the highs. Want to pay attention to what happens up in this area. This is the Qs 444.76. This is where it's going to be very, very important, especially if we get out of there. We want to see what's going on. But you know that once we get out of there, we can use it as support. So if we blow past it and we use it as support, we can go a little bit higher. I'm still thinking maybe the top side of the weekly is a good chance this week with this strong move, because we just curled up on the MACD. It would give us another point of divergence on Wednesday. Guess what? Thursday, PPI. Maybe PPI starts the downtrend, and then people buy a bounce into Jerome Powell talking, into the Fed talking, thinking, oh, he's going to say we're going to cut rates. And then, boom, he says the same thing. We're not going to cut rates. We're just going to cut 2 times before the end of the year, 2 times at the end of the year, and people just start to that negative trend. So Nvidia up 6.23 now. You really need to pay attention to this next hour on Nvidia. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to leave it up there. If you guys want to pivot back to the SPY and the Qs at any point, like just mention that. Tell me what levels are being hit by the SPY and the Qs. I'm going to leave Nvidia up because this thing is the most important thing in the market right now is Nvidia right here. And I just tried to drop it. I grabbed the screen, but boom. I'm going to go use the restroom real quick before this next hour begins. Oh, God. Hello there, children. Just kidding, it's not Chef. It's me. You guys thought for a sec, but it's me. Kind of want to see real quick what Bloomberg and them are talking about. All right, let's see if we see some strength here. We got a couple minutes till the next bar. Now, remember that we can see some kind of, pull back into here. This could be the handle, and then that starts to go up. So let's just really be careful here. This is that cup. Let's see if we get that handle start to head higher. And if we don't get the handle, then we might be squeezing. Wonder what they're saying over on Bloomberg. United tells Boeing.
The Dash 7 and the Dash 10, the Dash 10 being the biggest variant of the 737, there's just almost no way they're going to get pushed out longer than what we expect, given the problems in manufacturing at Boeing right now.
And what is that? So is there any read across that we should start thinking about for Airbus?
Well, I mean, here's the challenge.
Okay,
in
this
industry,
guy looks like
right?
a super villain.
The read across is, look, Airbus.
Tell me this guy doesn't look like a villain.
More orders for its Airbus A321. But the problem Scott has, and he's a really good customer, and they're
I don't know where his lair is, but
is that they probably can't get him 321s for 4 or 5 years from now.
All right, well, they're just talking about the logistics side of things, but let's pay attention. We got like a minute left in this hour. Really want to see what happens over the next hour. I'll probably hop off in the next 30 minutes or so. Most likely, I'm going to give that full breakdown, though, so stick around. I'm going to give that full breakdown here in a moment. Have you short Nvidia? What's your strike price? I'm not short Nvidia. I used this as a way to short AMD. I shorted AMD up here, and then I shorted Meta up here. And those were my two big short plays, and then I took, not on Meta, actually. I didn't take calls on Meta. I took a fun play because I made good money with that on Nvidia to the call side. So I'm going to see if we can get up maybe to like this high, and then I might think about getting out. How much more do I think the SPY can rally? As of right now, I'd have to say, because I'm a firm believer in these daily risk ranges, I would say up to a point of 517.71. That's where I would start to be like, okay, this is where we can experience some kind of pullback. But remember, this is still a strong move. We can continue that bullishness as long as no real big bad news comes out. Qs 444.76. Those are the two levels to really watch for. Amazon, good move, but it's coming up into a point where it could start to fade. And Nvidia, we're going to see what happens with this next hourly bar. We expect, if it wants structure going up, we expect it to kind of go sideways a little bit. Nvidia might reach 920-ish today. Nvidia could reach, shoot, man. I mean, by tomorrow, let's see. Oh, wrong one. Dang it. See, where do I think Nvidia could hit even by tomorrow? I think by tomorrow, actually, you have potential for Nvidia to hit 1,000 if this bullishness continues. That's just my opinion. If we keep this cross, now this can fade. We could still have this left head and right shoulder. So be careful with any trades here. But you got that crossing in positive territory, closing bar. If you swing trade on the hourly, closing above all the moving averages here. This bar right here actually might have been your in. And then this is your confirmation to stay in the trade at this point. But that's not saying anything. If you made good money here, it'd make total sense to not play into this craziness and take some profit like I probably should. Up 50% on the option now, so. Is Nvidia showing a bull flag? Depends on the time frame. On the hourly, I don't see a bull flag anywhere. I just see crossing of the MACD to the upside, which means positive territory. So really, I'm expecting that positivity to come in over the next 2 hours. One day up, next day down, and that's where we can pay attention to volatility. If volatility continues this downtrend, which it's at that base right now. Remember, we had this line across. This is that base. We can see a little pop of volatility come in. Head and shoulders on the VIX, a little bit something you have to take with a grain of salt, but we could get something like this. That would make total sense here. Just so we can break through this base. Reddit? I mean, I think whoever mentioned the whole IPO thing on Reddit, how a lot of the big fish sell out on the first day. It's like, yeah, because they usually overestimate it and then it comes down. Yeah, Ivan, I hear you on that. That's why I'm playing with it. I'm like, this is my fun play, but it actually could make me a decent amount of money if it goes even like up another 5%. 5%, I'm looking solid from here, like real solid. Yeah, so this would be like swing trade. When you swing trade, like say on an hourly chart or something, that's just you're holding a trade for maybe a couple days. No, Apple's really been struggling, and that's something to pay attention to, right? This could still curl over. Now, you are still, you would really like this cupping to happen up in here and consolidate to blow by this zone or something. The fact you're doing it lower, you could just get that ABC up into here, which I could tell you right now, this is going to be some resistance. So if we do see that strong push, it might be a hint that like, hey, yeah, Nvidia's booming, everything's booming. We have potential for a drop with PPI. A number that can blatantly be bad for the market, right? This number can blatantly be bad. Retail sales, they can convince themselves one way or the other. PPI, if that goes up, is bad. Yeah, I looked at SMCI. It pretty much, it looks like it could go towards the highs here. You're seeing some little structure. So you want to see if it can close above, what was the point I said? Like one is somewhere around here. I would just really take a line, take this, look at the highs here, draw this line here. Okay, if I get a closing bar above there, good shot. I'm at least testing this high, but probably making a divergence because I'm in positive territory. So good shot that this actually goes a little bit higher if it's able to break through. So I would most likely do something like this as well. Create a trend. See that pop up like this? Okay, I can get out. So yeah, the like 1250, something like that, is possible at this point because of this behavior right here, this crossing of the MACD. But know that we are in areas where this could fade anytime. So trade like water, guys. All right, just move around those rocks. Review. Welcome, Tom. If you're not already part of this the channel here, we'd love to have you as a subscriber. We would love it. What indicator are you using at the bottom? And thank you for your insight. These are what we talk about in the course. So if you want to, these indicators are free. These are very good. If you learn to use these types of indicators, it'll be very, very good for you. You won't have to buy anything. You don't have to buy any indicators. If you get really good at this, you don't need anything else. This is the MACD here. This is an RSI. They're both momentum indicators here. So what we look for on these are overbought readings. We look for divergences. We look for crossings of center lines. We go into a lot of this in the course. So if you're new to stocks, I'd really give that a shot. I'm not trying to make it $2,000 and 80% off, but which makes it $600, whatever, $400. No, it's just I set it at $100. And I said at the end of March, it's going to go up to 200, and then I'll leave it there at 200 most likely because I want it to be affordable for everyone. And if you hear crying, I don't have a prisoner, it's a baby. In a way, is kind of a prisoner. She can't go anywhere. Yeah, we're expecting some hesitance here. You can see the 5-minute just really, really overbought. So we're expecting some consolidation here. We're well within positive territory on this 5-minute. If you want to look at shorter time frames, see if that just kind of trickles down like this, turns up one more time. This is probably your moment. Maybe end of the day today, we actually do see that cross back up. So this is not a bad thing to consolidate where we're at right now on Nvidia. If we want to consolidate down a little bit and then see that reaction, you got the cup. Maybe we get some kind of handle and head higher. Let's see. Do it from this high. Boom. 980 for that price target, possibly. Oh, God. I don't remember the last time I ate McDonald's. It's probably more recent than I think, but when I hear MacD, I knew a guy named Mac and his last name started with a D. Let's see the SPY. All right, SPY. See, it's still seeing that strength cues. This is good. This is actually where you want to consolidate. Right here, you filled the big cup here. Now you can get that handle and start to head upward. That would be a very, very good sign. Maybe Apple actually starts to get some traction and starting to take back these moving averages by moving sideways. So there is potential to move higher here. 30-minute. You could set up a point of divergence up in here. That could be something to pay attention to. Amazon on the hourly was able to cross. We're getting another crossing here. This is actually good if we can stay higher and consolidate, or even if we need to dip down a tiny, tiny bit to grab some liquidity right up in here, right in here. That would make a lot of sense. And then how we know Tesla here is starting to still hold up, and not the best sign that it's not seeing positivity, but we know that a lot of Tesla traders right now are in Nvidia, which is something we're looking at here. Seeing that cross on the MACD as of right now, we expect some kind of little pullback maybe, and then that to go a little bit higher with that crossing of the MACD. It's a very, very good sign. People are still trying to short this at this point. Put call ratio is at 1.06 at the moment, and AMD not seeing as much strength. So really it's just the Nvidia play and the Meta play right now are looking pretty good. We actually have that crossing as of this bar on Meta. You want that to hold though. It needs to kind of hold at higher levels. It can retest some moving averages first. Palo Alto we haven't looked at a lot, but this thing's starting to kind of flag out here. Really just starting to kind of get some consolidation like this. If you want to be bullish, you need to kind of come and complete the cup, get a handle head higher. But bearish side, this starts to roll over on the 1 hour. You're probably going to see another dip down into this zone we have marked off. Microsoft, just testing these high levels again. Okay, so we're kind of in like a little bit of a range, if you will. And if we break to one side, actually, this looks like Wyckoff or whatever. It kind of does. So not the best distribution for Microsoft at this point. So really just pay attention if this level here, 397, gets taken out. That'd be bad. Google coming up into the area. We expect some resistance. We were looking for that triple divergence on the 15-minute. We actually got rejection at this point. You can head higher here. This overall, right, we've seen this a few times. Big cup, big handle, small handle. Now we can maybe break to the upside. So don't think that this has to. Really just see if this breaks and goes into negative territory. Very well could happen. As we do see like the hourly kind of just trickling up. We could need this to fall back down before we base out. Netflix consolidating at the highs here. About to, actually it already hit my price target, 620.83. We can go a little bit above that probably if we want to break to the upside. I'd just be looking for this to actually break down. And then lastly, the VIX here, that's what I'm kind of paying attention to as well. It's coming up into a very important level right here. So we want to see if that can break through there. And that's pretty much what we're paying attention to at this moment. Really just seeing if Nvidia can hold up at these higher levels. Might even watch a 5-minute for a little bit, just see what's happening. We're starting to curl down. Perfectly fine. You're taking back all the moving averages on that hourly chart on the 5-minute. You expect when we get way outside like this, you're going to retest one of these moving averages before you head up. Maybe we just go a little bit sideways and down for the 50 to cross here. But it is a 5-minute chart, so you take it with a grain of salt. Oh, yeah, that's perfectly fine, Tactical Ted. As long as you're being tactical out there, Ted, you're good to go. Now, some other stuff we can look at, is see what's happening on the other side of the market. Well, the bond market actually coming down, so you're seeing a price raise in stocks. Stocks are going up while the 10-year yield is going up right now. That is not a good sign. The dollar is going up while the stock market is going up right now. Not the best sign. We have, let's look at HYG is doing, staying even. So not the most bearish thing to look at there. HGX setting up a head and shoulders, but this is actually still bullish at this point. If this isn't really separating itself from the market, we could go hit another point up here in the housing sector. If this wants to cross up and give us some kind of triple divergence, that would be good. This triple divergence up here would be a good sign that there's weakness coming. Everything's starting to fade just a little bit here. We expected that in the first few minutes of this hour. So we're about 14, 15 minutes into this hour. Let's see if this 5-minute can curl back up over time here on Nvidia. I just rolled over my put till next week. It's my fun play. I love it. That's a thing on this channel now. It's like when you have like 5 good trades in a row, you can make a fun play with a very little amount of money, guys. You can make a fun play. My fun play is making me money right now, so if this turns, I want to see if there's at least one more turn up in this. Because we're not seeing like a sell-off at this level or any kind of news at this point that I see in the market. I'm not seeing too much news right now. Wholesales miss estimate even with Sephora partnership boost. Come on, guys. Bulls ain't that bad. Maybe or maybe not. It's where I buy my shoes sometimes. Just saying. I don't think we're approaching any weekly ranges at this point. Check TLT. That's one I kind of let loose. TLT could come down a little bit more, but not a lot going on with the weekly ranges as of yet. The main one was Meta, you guys. So Meta was a great one. Even on the 5-minute here, you see it dip below. Hey, we closed in this back within this line right here. We gave you the bottom side range for Meta. Thinking about adding this to the Patreon, by the way, Meta, because it's been pretty good and it's very overbought on the daily side of things, and it has a bunch of divergences. So I thought this would be a cool one to watch if we go into that bear market. The thing about Meta, though, you saw it dip down, you saw it retest, right? It retested the weekly expected move, and then you saw that cross back up to positive territory. And look at that move. Great move here. So good little trade right here. I wish I took this one, actually. Did anyone flip their plays? Who's flipping? Who's flipping back and forth? Who's trading like water out there? And I'm going to give this about 15 more minutes, and then we're going to do a little run through. I just want to give this a little bit of time to see if this 5-minute can pull back a little bit and start to head higher. I had to after CPI. Yep. My fun play was taking calls before CPI, and it looked like calls were the right option. So you love when the fun play works out. Nice. Okay, review. You're expecting some kind of dip down. Not a bad time to place that. I mean, SPY does have that opportunity. Come all the way down to maybe like 513 before it sees that reaction up. Maybe this high here, 514.50, something like that. Would be pretty good point. As for a whittle play. And then, oh, we can look at GDX, yeah. Gold getting a solid bounce. Jesus. Gold getting a solid bounce off of the 200, able to take that back. It's a good sign. This is a strong move. It's a strong move. Pay attention if that gets overbought. You may get like a better retest of the 200. So if this starts to go like that a little bit and then fade back down, look for that retest of the 200. But this is how you start getting back into a bullish trend, right? Once we get up to that 200, sometimes we dip below, but once you get above it, that's pretty good. We retest, go again. So that's pretty good. Good sign that this selling did not continue, didn't escalate or anything like that. So not bad at all from this perspective. We can look at a shorter time frame for you, just so you can see. You do have some divergence at this point on the 2-hour. Not necessarily, again, it's a little bit on both at the same time, right? So we see that downward move. We see the RSI down here pointing down a little bit, giving us that divergence. Now, this is a strong move, so expect some kind of maybe this to be a pullback, but how you can read into this is if it pulls back, see if that crosses back into positive territory. That's a good sign you're going to make another push higher, maybe make a point of divergence. Kind of what we're paying attention to on Nvidia. We're really just paying attention to if this hourly stays crossed and sees that strength come in. So very good play, though, if you're able to catch that. Very good play. Really? Why do you think 1 p.m. Eastern time? You think noon for me? Yeah, and I guess that can happen. I would just say right now you have 2-hour divergence on MACD and RSI, so there is potential for the reversal and trend from there. But it didn't. It looked a little wonky, so I wouldn't really mark that down as like, oh, I'm looking for a reversal and trend. I think that could just be some kind of pullback, and then we see a pop in the future. So that's just what it looks like to me. Today is the auction, 10-year note auction, yeah. At 11 a.m. for me, so here in about 11 minutes. Damn, 6:30 a.m. that came out. That's wild. Okay, it's 12. It's at noon for me. It would not be in 10 minutes. I was like, these usually come out at 7:30. I had this marked off wrong, I think. Okay, if this is all the handle that we get, I mean, I'm expecting this to kind of do this, give us that flagging, right? That would be nice. But if this just goes, that would be some squeezing. Puts are still up there, guys. And then I just want to pay attention to the VIX. If that drops off anymore. Dang it. Spilled coffee on my desk. I'm gonna play a song here. This one goes out to all the bulls out there making money on their calls on Nvidia. This song is for you. We're done. I was trying to get to the part where he says, "I'm never gonna give you up." I need to learn more about Bollingers. I have theories from watching tickers bounce the upper and lower limits, but I want to understand them better and how they tie into MACD, DMAs, and RSIs. Well, the way you can think about it is, at least the way that I see people use this, is more kind of like a risk to reward standpoint. Some notes on that. The main thing that I've been researching is trying to see what the actual back test is when the 5 crosses the 20. A lot of people believe when the 5 crosses the 20 like this, it actually means that you're going to test the bottom Bollinger. Okay, so if we like look back on Nvidia, let's see a time where we maybe crossed. Okay, so like here, you see this crossing here. What do? You test bottom Bollinger. You cross to the upside, right? So if you cross to the upside, you test top Bollinger. It kind of works out. Cross to the upside, test top. Cross to the downside, test bottom, test bottom. Cross to the upside, test top. Cross to the bottom, test bottom. Cross to the bottom, test bottom. Cross to the upside, probably way back here, actually. No crossing there, no crossing there. Let's see, cross to the upside, top Bollinger, top Bollinger. So that's one thing I'm looking into. Jesus, I have to pull way up to get here, guys. Kind of an overextended move, don't you think? Maybe a bubble or something. I don't know. So people pay attention to that on the SPY and the Qs for sure. But I don't know. This kind of seems like a bubble or something to me. It seems a little high. I don't know what this Nvidia, new Nvidia coin is. It's just really booming right now. To break a direction, but I'm going to watch that more. Yeah, it's kind of a cool little thing. I know. I want to see the guy who goes over that type of stuff. He overall just does it on the SPY and Qs, so I wanted to back test it on some things like Apple, Amazon, like some Magnificent 7 stocks. The DAX, I don't really look into the DAX too much. I mean, I do, like, at night when I'm doing my research, right? I still do research. I have someone I follow who talks about the DAX, and I'll just like listen to what they're saying and follow their chart for a moment. Usually, like, I just watch like 5 minutes. So I'll get updates on it for the most part, but I don't know enough about that one to really comment too much. The only thing I could do is like look at the chart, but overall, I would just say I like to stay in my lane. We talked about this yesterday where it was like, should I diversify? Well, a lot of people would say yes, but in my experience, someone advised me, hey, stick with a industry that you know about. So I trade a lot of tech stuff because I know about that stuff. I trade a lot of the meta because I know a lot about meta. I trade a lot of Apple because I know a lot about Apple. I worked at an Apple store for a while. So I stay in my lane and that's what works for me, but I totally understand if people diversify and that kind of thing. It's just how I do things and it's better for me, and I would advise a lot of people to give that a try. Just really companies that you really connect with a little bit better. Sorry, moving around a little bit. See what these SPY's doing on the 5-minute. Just consolidating. Little fight between the bulls and bears up here. This is where you want that fight to happen, though. Right here is great. If you can get an ABC move, even on a 5-minute, that would really explode higher. Most likely, that's going to come over to Nvidia. So we have to see if there's some kind of squeezing by end of day. But here in the next 5 minutes or so, I'm going to break down every stock that we do cover. So we're going to go through a lot of the hourly charts, just show you guys what's happening on the hourly. So we get, I don't trade based on 5-minute charts. I'm just watching it right now. So I want to go over these hourly charts and see what is happening as of right now, see if that bullishness can come in, because we're seeing a lot of stuff start to cross on the hourly, which is a pretty good sign that the trend is going to continue up. Which means that the CPI, though it was not the best news, it really wasn't. It wasn't bad enough news to switch people's mentality, or at least cause enough people to sell for that to come down. Right now, we're seeing a lot of people with puts in the market, and they're getting squeezed on the SPY. We actually showed you that in last night's video. Almost a 3-to-1 ratio puts to calls for Friday's closing. Not a great sign. I'm going to put it that way. And I bet money if the SPY has that, we looked at Nvidia. Nvidia has a decent put amount. And then you have 2 big spikes of calls. The last time we saw those big spikes of calls, well, we got up towards 1,000 and then sold off. That could happen again. But Apple's still negative, TLT negative. Those are both very contradictory things to what are happening right now. Are you live every day? Yes, Rose, I am live every single day. If we have an event or something like that, like CPI, like Fed speaking or anything like that, we do stay on a little bit longer. So the only thing I would say is going into next week, the 20th is when we do get the Fed rate decision. I'll be going live later on in the day. I won't be going live in the morning. So tune into YouTube for sure on the 19th so you can get the daily ranges. And then come the 20th, I'm going to go live once we actually get the Fed rate decision and they have their Fed press conference. I feel like that would be more productive. So that's going to be the schedule moving forward into next week. So normally it's every single morning. I try to hop on right at the open just so we're immediately in. We immediately start to do it. If I see something important, I try to wake up earlier, but you guys know I have a baby girl and she likes to yell at me. She never yells at her mom, though. It's very sweet. She was like, yeah, okay. They just got home from the doctor's appointment, so. 5-minute, I still would like this to beat down for a little bit longer, but we'll have to see what's going on. So stick around. In about 11 minutes, we're going to break down every single stock, see if we see some moves higher, see if we can just show you guys some direction going into the middle of the day here. A lot of the time around this time of day, we do see this kind of fizzle out. And then by end of day, like by, say, 1 o'clock Eastern time, 2 o'clock Eastern time, we start to see some more price action get involved. So good area here to hold up. We are in a positive trend on the 5-minute. Nothing about this is negative right now. We have that hourly crossing over. So we'll talk about that in about 10 minutes here. But yeah, thank you so much for stopping by, Rose. Please, I assume you're subscribed already, but just in case anyone out there is not subscribed, we would love to have you here every single day. Subscribe, turn on those notifications, because sometimes I'm a little late because I'm taking care of baby girl. Or I just wake up late. Because sleep is very, very important for me right now. Did she like? I don't know. I don't know who likes. I wish I could tell who likes. I could point you guys out individually and be like, why didn't you like it? Did you not like what I was saying? It's okay. At the end of the day, it just helps out the channel. So the more you like, the better it is for us over here. Rose needs to like the live. Damn, Armando putting you on the spot, Rose. I'm sorry. Of course I have. See, Armando. See what you do to people. Gold is money and everything else is credit. Yes. One day, there's a funny day where I was explaining to my brother how debt is money and debt is how money is created. And he didn't believe me. And he fought me on it forever. And then he got into the mortgage game. And he didn't fight me on it. It's he just looked it up that day. And he was like, oh yeah, it kind of is. Meta, let's see if you're basing out at all. There's your little 5-minute divergence. You know that it's probably going to pull back. Nvidia, no real 5-minute divergence. Trying to see if there's any hints on these 5-minute charts here. SPY just a tiny one on the RSI for this double top coming in here. We'll see if it wants to consolidate some more. It all depends on this guy. Yeah, so some big things that you could pay attention to. Rose, if you are part of the Patreon, I posted this midday yesterday showing how Meta was at the bottom side of its weekly range very early on in the week. This was a big hint. This would mean that if we were going to crash today, Meta would crash hard, because if it breaks through that bottom side of the weekly expected move, that means something crazier is happening. So when you come outside of it, you want to buy back into it pretty quick. You do land within it 68% of the time, but when you do get more out of it, you can use it as resistance, head lower. So this is really hinting to me, hey, this is all the options market priced in for the entire week, and we're already there. This crossed into positive territory on the 5-minute. Boom, there's my trade. It's a very good one. Now, other stuff can sell off, and that can pull back the SPY and the Q. But if Nvidia doesn't sell off and it just consolidates for a while, it can head higher. But I'm sorry about your loss. It's okay. Take it into the next one. Try to learn from whatever mistake you were making, whether it was just trying to take a trade before CPI. You could do yourself a favor and look up max pain before CPI before you take that trade next time, because you notice that it was a 3-to-1 ratio. So if the CPI was going to be really bad for the market, that means what 66% or something of people would have made money, or 75% of people would have made money today, and that just doesn't happen very often. So you have to look at your risk to rewards on some stuff and say, if I want to take a play, maybe this is the right one to take. That's just how I would think about it. And Meta was one of those plays that told you that. I would have liked boom, boom, get a divergence. That would have been sick. Yes, they are, and that's something I'm kind of worried about. We'll mention that in the next few minutes here. When we get into it in about 6 minutes, we'll get into stuff. Really appreciate that explanation. Created an indicator for myself when it crossed on plays on my list. Very, very cool. How did you create that indicator that you get a notification? Do you get a notification when it crosses? Because that's pretty cool if you did that. That's actually very, very cool. So the thing with it crossing, I noticed, is you want to see if it's crossing and at the same time it's touching bottom Bollinger. You really want to see some room to the bottom Bollinger when it's crossing. That's where I think it's a little bit powerful. The other thing that I've been learning about, say, Bollinger Bands, that's a 3-day. I only use it on a daily scale. I don't use it on hourlies or anything like that, so everything I say is about daily scales. The other thing that I would mention is when you do get that crossing down, let's see if we can see a downtrend here. When you do get that crossing down and you test bottom Bollinger, after you test bottom Bollinger, we get that cross. You notice that we're at the bottom Bollinger right here. You'll retest the 5-day. You notice we retest the 5-day. We even retest the 20 here, but you'll retest 5-day and then kind of ride that down. And then you'll try to retest the 5-day a bunch of times. Notice we're just retesting the 5-day almost every single day. Very, very good. And then you see that pop above 5-day. Well, we pop above it. What do? We retest it. So then it crosses. We go down, we hit bottom Bollinger. What do we do once we hit bottom Bollinger? We move sideways for the 5-day to catch up. So in some way, you're going to reconnect with 5-day. We talked about this on Palo Alto. So Palo Alto was one that we were really talking about this on the live stream. We saw this big move down, right? We saw this big move down way out of the Bollinger, right? We come into the 200. Well, this right here, this bar, this exact bar, someone asked me about it here. I said, hey, well, this can go test 5-day, and it actually did. 5-day was sitting like right up in here, and then it actually blew past that, and now it was testing the 20-day coming back down. Well, what do we do when we come back down? Well, we test 5-day over and over and over again. Now we're starting to base out, come above it, so you have potential here for this to roll back up. Pretty cool stuff, honestly. And you can see it on Nvidia too. Whenever you test bottom or top of the Bollinger or bottom, you're going to see sideways movement, go to the 5. Okay, well, we test the top. What do? Test 5, go up a little more. Okay, now we test the 20. So you'll see us like ride the 5-day up. Pretty cool. Do you see how, like, even though it moves up, it's moving up slower, so the 5-day catches up? Pretty cool stuff. Breaks through, tests the top, moves slowly a little sideways to get that 5 to catch up. It crosses back down. We test bottom Bollinger right as the cross is happening. What do? We test some moving averages. It's just cool stuff. I really like it. Now, you have to use that as something. It's not overall just like one great reason to take a trade. You really need other things going on for that to really be the case, but totally understand why someone would think that's very interesting. I think it's very interesting. All right, let's see if Nvidia wants to make this push higher. A couple more minutes here. Sometimes it's better not to trade around numbers. What are your thoughts? Yes. So there are some crazy studies that say if you just didn't trade around, I think it's like earnings and big events like this, you're actually like beating the S&P 500 every single year or something like that. I just like to say earnings, very, very risky. You're dealing with a 50-50 flip. CPI, same thing, 50-50 flip. Now you can look for hints in the overall market. I had Nvidia calls today. So was I very scared to hold those Nvidia calls? Well, Meta made me less scared because Meta was saying, hey, this is as low as I'm supposed to go for the whole week, so the likelihood of a bounce here is pretty high. So this was one reason I could say, hey, I can hold on to those Nvidia plays. Right shoulder, that's starting to play out to the upside. Now I want to see, and this is actually good. We gap above that level, you notice, and then we retest there and come back up. Now we can see if we get that push higher, consolidate, get like an ABC pattern. That would be very, very good. Come up to like a 950 or something like that. So we got a few more seconds, and then we're going to just break down all the stocks that we normally cover on this channel. Really helps the story. Good. So yeah, you're already formulating your own method to use that information with other information to make an educated trade. I really like that review. That's very, very good. How much money do you invest per trade as a percentage of your available capital? So if things are volatile, we go over this in the course a little bit, how much money you should be putting towards a trade if you are using options and things like that. I usually don't put any more than 10% of my portfolio to options. And then with that 10% per trade, I use about 10% of that. So about 1% of my overall portfolio will be put into options at that point. But usually I don't follow that to a T. Usually I find myself more doing, like 5% of my portfolio will be options or doing the full 10% because I know I'm pretty confident with it. I can tell you my Nvidia play was I think it was like $1,500 or something like that. Do you think we'll reach a new all-time high? I mean, it's starting to add up to that. Let's do our full breakdown now because that's a good point, Ivan. Let's get into it. Let's just go into, on the 5-minute, we're going to see a lot of these handles maybe being formed, but this one's a little higher up. Let's just go to an hourly. This is overall what we're talking about, creating another point of divergence. You still have the potential here. Like if you just connect this down here, you'll notice something. Boom, look at that. So if we start to break through this level again, that's where you'd want to be a little bit cautious again in the overall market. But right now, this is a bullish trend. You've crossed up on the hourly to the upside. Something you can do here on all of these charts, we'll just do it on this one and that's it. Look for this 2-hour. This 2-hour did cross. That means you have a good chance, especially since we closed above this level, to come test this high. How high could that go? Well, let me look at that trend. I could go up to like a 518, but this could move sideways for a little bit and then move higher again, maybe even Thursday with PPI, and we actually come to the top here. So I think for this week, I'm really leaning towards this area here since this is a strong move. We got that crossing. I think it might be just kind of brief, like a pop-up, drop, get another point of divergence here. It can violate this one, but these two, this one here is the most important. You don't want it to come above this divergent, this one right here, this MACD reading. Really don't want it to come above there. But this would make sense with the reaction to CPI at this point. You'll see a very similar thing on the Qs, about to curl up. This point right here is going to be your very important point on the RSI and the MACD. So pay attention to this one. You can create a divergence with this one and another divergence over here. That would make a lot of sense. Now you still have to be open to some downside. Notice that the SPY is about to like test the high. The Qs aren't really up at this level yet. That's something we mentioned in the video. Pay attention if the Qs don't confirm that just yet. Doesn't mean they can't catch up though. Apple, one thing that we were just mentioning here, first of all, 2 hours still not looking good. Like I just want to say 2 hour not looking good, 1 hour looking maybe even worse. This thing is looking like it wants to roll over into negative territory. So there is a bearish case here. If this rolls over, you can take out this low, you can make a new one. So you're probably going to test this low if that happens. But since we've moved sideways now, you have the potential for an ABC up. So I would be more leaning towards this with how the overall market looks right now. Amazon, we saw that crossing into positive territory. We just want to see, is it going to break through this almost flagging here? How that could happen. It actually could move sideways here. That'd be a good sign. It could even react a little bit higher, scoot back down and see that bot back up. So that's what I'd pay attention to on Amazon. Yeah, and I'll keep going through here. We're getting through it, but Tesla finally starting to see that uptick. Kind of want to look at a 2 hour here. We're seeing that crossover. See if in the near future that is able to roll back down in negative territory. That'd be a good sign that this low is going to be tested or taken out. And we're probably going to see some kind of 2 hour divergence before we see a more meaningful bounce. That's what I'd say about Tesla. You got to be a little careful with Tesla because we could be getting a strong move. We have that daily chart here showing you a divergence, you guys. Shorter time frames are great, but if you get a daily divergence, it's probably going up. Like, I'm just going to say that right now. It's probably going up if you get that daily divergence to confirm gets into positive territory. Nvidia still sitting at really high levels, able to take back the 5-day. Very, very good sign. On the hourly, this is what we're paying attention to as of right now. This second is seeing if this MACD can remain crossed into positive territory. That would be a good sign that we're going to come test this high, maybe even go make a new one. So if you are part of the Patreon, and the Patreon is down in the description, you can get those weekly ranges for Nvidia and know once we get past a certain point, hey, once we get up to 1,000, I'm outside of the range or something like that. I'm going to take profit here and be smart because that's all the options market has priced in for Nvidia this week. So really just paying attention to this MACD though, making sure it remains crossed and it doesn't try to turn back down into negative territory today. AMD, similar story, hasn't seen that strength yet, but you're able to take back the 5. Not a bad sign moving forward. You just want to see if that gets into positive territory. Meta with a strong move, seeing that cross as of this hour. Remember, this is where you kind of want it to consolidate and then start to break higher. So Meta could be going to the top side of its weekly range. It could be going to the top of its monthly up to 528.40. So I think that resistance might hold pretty good right at this level. It's pretty good resistance up here. We'll do it since someone asked Microsoft and Google. We'll look at this for a second. Microsoft, as overall stating, this kind of looks like a Wyckoff distribution, right? We saw this range that we're in up in here. We see this range down here. We just see that fake out to the upside. Now we're getting these. So we'll have to see. But really, at this point, I don't pay attention to Wyckoff too much. I just say if it breaks this way, probably going up. If it breaks this way, you've built up so much liquidity, we're going to get a strong move on the next push out, most likely. Google, something to pay attention to on Google, just kind of getting a little overextended on this hourly. If we fall back down, we still could go into a negative trend, but see if we want to remain at higher levels, stay in positive territory, and curl back up one more time. We could break through and see this crossover. So that would be something to pay attention to. Netflix, same type of thing. We're starting to consolidate at my take profit level up here at 620.83. I didn't trade this, but for fun, I like to make a marker on stocks to see if they actually get to where my analysis puts them. And it actually did. It hit it like to a T, and we saw that sell off. So that was very, very good. Now, one thing to keep your eye on is the VIX. The VIX starting to break down even deeper. I would pull up a 2-hour, see if this lasts, because this could push down like this, fill this gap, and turn back up. So we could fill this gap, we could fill this 13 gap, and we could make some kind of curl round, which curls back up into positive territory. So that's really what I'm paying attention to at this point, across the board on everything. Some little signals that we could pay attention to. The overall market going up right now, TLT falling down. Okay, TLT falling down, almost an island reversal at this point. So you have to pay attention to this because TLT is the smarter traders, and they're doing this right now, early on in the day, right? Nothing too crazy, but SPY's doing this. So just be a little careful with that. And the dollar is also up while the market is up. So bunch of things to pay attention to moving forward. But we have a few key things we can pay attention to on like an hourly chart, which is making sure those MACDs remain crossed in positive territory. And I would say the main thing you need to follow, even if you're looking at a different stock, you still want to follow Nvidia because this has such a high weight that if people start to hit the sell button here, it can scare people out of a lot of other stocks. So divergent pariah, hopefully that was helpful for the Google side of things. I know we did it kind of fast, but I just wanted to say I really appreciate you guys coming by. I'm going to have to go now. Make sure to note that we do go live every single morning, so please subscribe, do all that good stuff, like the channel, all that kind of thing. And if you need those weekly risk ranges, go down in the Patreon down below in the description. And then also if you need any kind of course, if you guys want to learn more about this stuff, learn how I read into these indicators. I don't try to teach you what they are. I tell you what they are. I teach you why they are important. That's a big point there. So learning what they are is great, but learning why they are important and how you can use them is even better. And that's what the course's goal is. And I'm adding a video to that course this weekend. So if you already have it, make sure to check back by Sunday because I'll have a video about, how to know when to take a loss or how to, that kind of thing. We're going to make a video about that. I just have to make sure to get it to where it's very clear and concise. I like the videos to be very efficient, very straightforward. So thank you guys so much for stopping by today. I'll leave the chart up for a little bit so you can watch it for just a little bit longer. Go click those links down in the description. And I just wish you guys all the luck in the world trading to the end of the day, all the luck in the world trading into tomorrow because we could see this bullishness continue for another day or so. And let's watch out for that next rock, PPI. So if we're trading like water, nothing here should surprise us today. We see that cross on the MACD to the upside. We know that that potential positivity can come in. We just want to see that positivity over the next few hours in Nvidia. Nvidia has such a heavy weight, like you're saying in the Mag 7 right now review. Totally get it. But that's why I just wish you guys all the luck in the world. Trade like water. And I hope you have a great day. Peace. Thanks, Marco. I see you.